Welcome back to the 6th episode of the Mitchell Pehlke Lacrosse Show presented by STX on TLN. Another packed episode. We're back in the studio after 2 live shows. Packed episode going over results from week 2 of the PLL. An interview with potentially an MVP candidate, Xander, Dickson, talking transfer portal news, talking Mitch's mailbox, and lastly, PLL Fantasy. Something new to the squad, but we're getting it going. How we feeling, squad? Back at NYC.
Feels good to be back in the city, back in New York City, back in studio. Feels
back
good.
in studio. How was Charlotte? Quick rundown.
What a time. Ooh. Charlotte has a great PLL atmosphere.
Yes.
First time going there.
Yep.
Matching it up with all the weekends that I've been to. Top 3 easily.
Top 3.
Wow.
Top 3. You
Great
were
city.
the
Wow.
CEO of the Bar Down Lounge.
Oh, as always.
How many plus 20
Dukes is
on
the president of the Bar
How many
Down
adult
Lounge.
beverages did we consume this weekend? Over under 15.
Over
Under 20.
Over 20?
Dude, so are they just walking around with beers there? Like, give me a
on-
rundown on the
Did
lounge.
you walk in there with a Sharpie in your back pocket? How many signatures did we give out?
It's not signatures, it's shotguns.
Oh my god. Honestly though, before we dive in, does that get annoying? Probably so many people come up to you like, "Do you want a shotgun? Do you want a shotgun?"
Oh, dude, brutal. Like, the end of the night, like, the bar closes at, like, the third quarter, so everyone gets their beers to hold on to.
Yeah.
All the kids are like, dude, like, come on, I bought the tickets because, like, your promo, like, could you shotgun with me? I'm like, oh, my God, like, get me out of here.
His stomach's like filled up. You know that feeling?
Yeah.
You're at like a grad party, you just shotgun like 3 beers. You're like,
It's hot and
Your other boy comes over, yo, let's go. You're like, dude, I can't do it right now.
I'm telling you.
It's coming out the mouth. You're gonna throw.
Being the lacrosse beer guy is not an easy role.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not.
It's
Definitely
unseen.
not.
It's
no,
unseen.
I like that. But again, a packed episode. We're talking Atlas staying hot. You see the board. Are they overhyped? We'll talk to, again, Xander Dickson live and ask him. Whipsnakes, my team, they fall 0-2. Is it getting scary? Do we need to make some changes? Red Wings coming out winless, just like the Whipsnakes. And then Carolina obviously goes 1-1. Brennan O'Neill with the takeover. Not to say we didn't see it come, but we did. And then obviously recapping a little bit of Division I to D3 lacrosse with the transfer portal. But let's dive right into there, the transfer portal. It's been hot. We talked about it briefly in our live episode last week in week 1 of the PLL in Albany. But transfer portal, let's start out with Eric Maliver.
Yeah, so the 2 main ones we talked about was Eric Maliver and Charles Balsamo last week. We didn't know where they were going. We just knew they entered. Maliver, first off, going to Duke. Duke hitting the portal again hard like they do every year. You know, they kind of have benefited from the high academics, getting some Ivy League guys, and they have some other guys coming in. But, I think Maliver's a good pickup for them. He's a guy I feel like not as a little forgotten just because of the injury, and he had a little diminished role this past year with the Terps. But like I said last week, he was in line to be the king at Maryland. He was in line to wear the 1. Everyone thought that he had a great year during that national championship run. It's interesting to see where he fits now. They lose Zawada. They lose Brennan O'Neill.
They lose Dyson.
McAdory, I think who's playing primarily midfield.
Yep.
I think they're going to slide back down to attack. But Maliver is a primary attack guy, so let's see how they kind of mix.
All right, so
let's
let's make the early Duke attack lineup. Who's your 3 right now, all you guys?
I mean, I think you have to play McAdory down there. You saw what he did in the ACC tournament. They moved him down for that 1 game, and he had the best game of the season.
Yeah.
Who's even left?
Yeah. So
Well, then you got Maliver, and then who's playing like the?
Those are my 2. And then
Yeah.
the third spot, I'm
It
gonna
was
guess, like,
Balsamo.
is there like a Chaminade top 15 guy that's coming in? Like, I don't follow up with like Ty Xander's recruiting anymore. So I'm like,
St. Anthony's.
St. Anthony's.
No,
Chaminade's Notre Dame. Chaminade's
I
Notre Dame.
you know, but Dino just goes after those.
He just goes to the island. Pops
just-
up
Yeah,
his
I'm
chair.
thinking there's got to be some top recruit who comes out there.
That's why I thought the Balsamo transfer was the craziest one because he was like so warmed up to go into the Duke lefty spot.
We talked about
That's a good segue into obviously Charles at Duke transfers to UVA. We said it last segment or last show, but the first Danowski transfer, first undergrad transfer at Duke in the Danowski era, and we talked about it a little bit. Obviously, I don't know him. I don't know if you guys know him, but is this more of an off-field challenge, knowing that stat and then him obviously transferring? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I think first off, though, Lars, though, you don't count on Lars scooping out a top talent kid like that, so it's a good go for him. I don't know. I think Danowski, probably Balsamo was maybe unhappy with how much time he got this year. He had a little bigger role as a freshman. And, you're a freshman, so you maybe are like, all right, like, I understand, blah, blah. This year, he really didn't have much of a role, so maybe that end-of-the-year meeting was like, I want to be the man next year. Dino was like, honestly, I don't see it that way.
Yeah.
And maybe that was a mutual parting there, and Balsamo was like, you know what, I'll head out. But I don't know. I think the fit's good at UVA. I think if anyone's going to know how to unlock him or get him right, if it is a character problem, it's Lars Tiffany. That guy, I feel like can get him in the right spot. So I trust on that. I think the kid's going to be good. I think the limited action I saw him freshman year, I thought he was.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely like no question mark on the field. He definitely puts the ball in the back of the net. But it'll be interesting to see kind of how he fits in that UVA offense and early prediction for the UVA attack. Obviously, McCabe will stay.
Yeah.
Do we see Charles down there?
No, I think Mankey.
You think Mankey? They also got Hackett. They also got Hackett who could.
Mankey's that lefty, right?
Who?
Thomas
Mankey.
Yeah.
He's nasty. That lefty, I think he's warmed up to be in
what
that
do we
spot.
think the deal is with Schutz? He's kind of had a quieter midfield role. Do you think they could maybe move some pieces around, get him down there? I don't know, because I feel like he was this really touted recruit and has not really lived up to his full potential yet. Maybe something they can unlock him.
Truett Sunderland, don't forget him.
Yeah, don't forget Truett. He was hurt last year,
He was hurt, though. I don't know. I think McCabe's obviously the only guy to really stay down there. I think the thing with Charles and Truett coming back and even Schutz, even McCabe as well, but those guys are kind of irreversible all over the field. They can kind of do it all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing Schutz down low. I think
Schutz is such a big body. I feel like he's got to come out of the box and downhill dodge.
I don't agree with that. I kind of see that he could play a role down low.
Yeah.
He's just a physical specimen.
Yeah.
I do think he needs to be unlocked. He hasn't played up to his potential since freshman year, I'd say. But even there's that thing, I think it's pre and post, him bumping heads at Duke, putting up 2 points, 3 points per game.
Yeah.
And all the finish the year putting up half a point a game. It's got to be better.
Yeah.
He's got to be better. But
it's going to be interesting. I don't know. The transfer news will obviously kind of get more dirty and dirty as the summer goes on. Other notable transfers, though. Graham Blake.
Yeah, Graham Blake's that's another one of those, like I said, Ivy to Duke pickups. Yeah. They also got Aiden Blake, not to confuse them. They're not related, but that was another Cornell player who was really good. He's headed to Duke as well.
Yep.
I did get confused by that, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's okay. That's why we're here. That's why we're here.
AJ
Hernandez.
Yeah, AJ Hernandez.
A guy who was at the first Mitchell Pehlke Lacrosse experience. Defender. Went to Navy and now going to Maryland.
Yeah, great dude.
Great guy. Great lacrosse player. Great coach. Mean frog hitter.
Yeah, he is a
breaks
mean
the
frog
jaw.
hitter. He's going to be good in the middle of the field, too. I think he's good running around and moving the ball around. But also, we got Drew Scott. It's an interesting one.
Drew Scott came to Ohio State. This is an interesting one, Dukes. I don't know if you guys know about this.
Yeah.
Came to Ohio State a year below Hoagie and I.
Yep.
Came here. It was the COVID year. Came for a semester. Semester. Into the portal to go play football at TCU.
Yep.
And now is transferring to play lacrosse at UNC.
First final year, yeah.
What position does he play?
He was a wide receiver, slot receiver. He was actually
in lacrosse.
Lacrosse. Honestly, he was a D-midi at Ohio State, but we don't know what he's doing. He was actually on the team for the national championship run 2 years ago, which is kind of sick, too.
TCU.
He posted a sick picture after they beat Michigan
flexing,
on the field, flexing.
That.
But I'm interested to see what Drew Scott does, honestly, because he was an athletic specimen, like Mitch, you said. We put him at D-midi, but it was for 6 practices because half the team had COVID. That wasn't even full practice. Year. But he's just an athlete, a Dallas kid. So
he's going to bring back UNC.
What are our thoughts? What are your what's the thoughts of UNC as a whole right now in the portal? Is it just kind of if you're Bresci, what are you thinking?
For the hot seat that I put Bresci on, I seriously think that they have a good young core that could save him. Really? I think Owen Duffy is a future Towartown winner.
Yes.
But what does saving mean? What does he need? Is it
you get a Towartown winner and a Final Four? Owen Duffy is the truth.
So if they go 6-8 again and beat Duke on a walk off, he's saving.
Yeah, you got to be gone because again, what I just said is they have a future Towartown winner.
Yeah.
If you do go 6-8 with a future Towartown winner and you got Don Petro.
Yeah.
And I think they have some good young defenders.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just I think that they have so much talent that if you go 6-8 again, it's not the talent.
They definitely got a question mark in net, though, with John Farrell leaving. I don't know. I mean, bringing him in, with what's his name leaving? Colin Krieg. I think not a question mark, but how do you think?
I feel like it's I know a young kid, Wilson, he's from Charlotte.
They have John Farrell coming in. Is what I'm saying.
Is his name Michael?
Yeah, Gianfranco. He's transferred from Princeton to UNC.
Yes. I forgot about that transfer.
That's what I'm saying. So they have that transfer.
Yeah,
so
that's
that
a good
could provide some stability.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
No, yeah,
that's good.
But I mean, we've kind of seen this route. It just depends on what type of year they have.
Yeah.
In order, for Bresci.
But I think he's making the right move to replace a guy like Krieg, bring him in.
Yeah.
Their face-off guy, Brady Wambach,
Yeah,
had the highest, one of the highest percentages last year in the country. He's
What a name. I'm all in on that guy.
That's Abby Wambach's nephew.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, my. Abby Wambach.
No, he's elite. And then one guy I'm pretty pumped to see, the kid from Binghamton.
Yeah.
Big Matty Ice.
Yeah, Matt Keegan.
Going to Maryland. I'm excited to see him. Fun fact, I was filming a video, Shane Knobloch. It's not out yet. We're doing, facilities tours at Rutgers, this and that. We walk into the lobby, and Matt's going through a Rutgers visit and tour with Brecht. And Shane and I are there, and he was, like, all shocked. And it was like, did we just set this up? But he was a great guy. Met his family, Binghamton guy. Looks like an Italian dude, I'll be honest. But going to Maryland, he'll fit in there super well. And is the transfer portal going to continue to be this place where guys can play, 1 or 2 more years somewhere? Or do you think it's going to start tapering back, obviously, now that the whole COVID year's done?
No, yeah, that's the thing that I think it's shifting now. So the last couple of years, it's been I have a 5th year and I'll go play somewhere else. Now the transfers you're seeing are kids who go to a smaller school and light it up for 1 to 2 years and then hit the portal, and the big schools kind of take them and swallow up.
Yeah.
So it begs a question, do you go to – and I'm not knocking teams down, but do you go to like a Binghamton for a year?
Yeah.
And you're going to start and put up 60 goals and whatever, and then transfer to Maryland, hopefully?
Yep.
Or do you go to like – what's like a middle tier, like a Richmond, a Towson,
yeah.
and like not get on the field till you're like a junior, maybe a senior?
Yeah.
And you kind of ride that whole 4 years.
Yeah.
Like if you're a recruit, do I go to Richmond for 4 years, or do I go to Binghamton and be like, all right, Binghamton, I'm going to get on the field, light it up, and you don't want to say you're transferring, but in the back of your mind, you're thinking like, I want to have a great year here,
Yeah,
and
so
then
you
probably
can
move up.
continue to go.
You know
I
what
think
mean?
the biggest thing, though,
That's
is like
an interesting
No, that's actually a
decision
good
for a
take.
kid.
I like that.
when
Yeah.
Hoagie and I were freshmen and sophomores at Ohio State, like there was no transfers. But now, obviously, as years went on in COVID, and now past COVID, like I think it's
There
a
used to
necessity
also,
now.
There
like,
also used to be
coaches are
like
gonna have.
penalties for transferring, like you'd have to sit out and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Now it's like you just
Yeah.
can't.
I think like each year now, you can expect 1 to 3 transfers in each class.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that brings us to the D3 to D1 transfers. That's the same thing that you were saying, like go to a smaller school. These guys went D3, and now they have opportunities to go D1.
Yeah.
Let's say Miles Dubois lights it up next year.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I was waiting to say it to the
Well,
end.
this is a 2-part question. How will Miles Dubois do next year? How many points will you put up?
I don't know. My goal is like 25. I just want to start. Let's just start with that. I want to start at
Mid or attack? You
I want to start. I want to start at attack, but if that doesn't work out,
play
I would love to
midfield?
come out of the box.
I'll come to a game next year.
Yeah, come to a game. I would love to.
Please
come out of
do
the
not
box.
Salisbury
miss the open
Stevens.
netter, though.
Oh my
I mean, that
gosh.
was an all-time.
All right, that was
Miles,
bad.
maybe man up too.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
so then-
man up. I started on man up my freshman year and
actually?
didn't make it back. But yeah, so yeah, there's 3 Bowdoin transfers going D1. Zach Gorno, Will Byrne, and Ethan Bernard. Zach Gorno is going to Maryland. Will Byrne is going to Michigan. Ethan Bernard is going to Rutgers. You had relation to one of these guys. Which one was it?
Ethan Bernard. I don't know him personally at all. But
No, like he
But
knew who
he was in
was.
our
New
grade.
Jersey connection.
No,
huh?
he's not a New Jersey guy. He was in our grade, actually going to Vermont.
It's just classic, like Fogos know each other. Like
This
Yeah.
is squids.
He was going to Vermont and flipped, I think, late senior year to Bowdoin. Obviously,
Okay.
probably academic reasons, I would assume.
That was
but-
yeah,
awesome.
I mean Bowdoin's
That
like
was
a 9%.
awesome. You guys have a relationship, right? Don't know him at all.
Well, he was saying that he knew him. I don't
Miles
know.
teeing him up.
It's classic, just like
Miles
knew of him.
teeing him up.
You know what I meant. by
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
DJ Dickson, Wesleyan to
DJ
Michigan.
Dickson, what a name.
I like that name.
know.
Any relation to Mark Dickson?
And then Michael Grace from RIT to Cuse.
Let's
Staying up
stay on
north.
D3 real
Is
quick.
that a new transfer, by the way? I thought I heard that he was already committed to Q's like last year.
I think he committed a while ago.
Like before
I don't know.
the
It's
season
this-
this
it
year.
was off
yeah.
the Upper Decky Lax blog. They had their notable D3 to D1 transfers of 2024.
Miles Dubois, folks. We're back in studio. The mannequin is right over there. If he slips up, it's going to be a quick sub out. On to new news.
No mannequin. Don't worry. You got this.
Miles
Yeah,
is
you
safe.
got this.
Miles
Stay
is
strong,
safe in my
Miles.
eyes.
Stay
Come
strong.
on, Miles.
Miles
That
is
was good.
safe.
That was a good
Do we
D3.
get any
That was great.
Do we get any Miles slanter
Excuse me.
at Bar Down Lounge?
Just a lot of women were just like,
Wow.
What were they saying?
a lot of
That's
girls.
heinous.
Yeah, a lot of
Girls,
gir-
what were they
What
saying?
did they say?
Oh, he's so beautiful.
They kept being like, Wadi KB, Miles Wadi KB. Miles, you don't know ball. That's what they kept saying.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know about that.
Miles, what do you have to say to all the haters out there?
I don't know if I have haters. Do I have haters?
Just the women.
Just the
I
women.
yeah, I told them, I go, slide into his DMs. He's a nice guy.
Did they slide in, Miles?
No, absolutely. I would love to receive some DMs.
Who's in
from
your
them.
DMs right now? Any Lax guys?
Yeah, they're all just little kids wanting this new stick from my last video.
Is Jake
so.
Piscino in your DMs?
Jake Piscino is not. He doesn't follow me back for some reason.
Wow.
I don't know why.
Are you serious?
Whoever watched my last video, it seemed like we had a good relationship. You
Miles,
know,
I could have sworn you were blood with Jake Piscino.
I know.
Dude,
I know.
after that
I thought
Albany-
I was in his corner. I was fighting for the guy, and now he doesn't follow me back. He doesn't answer my text.
Maybe it was
He didn't
something
answer
with
your
the video.
text?
Like maybe you
That's
like,
what
made
I
him
was
mad
thinking.
in the video.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe he wasn't happy with it, how it came
Well,
out.
maybe
He
you
didn't
should
listen.
edit it more. I think that's what it
I
comes
should
down
have
to.
sent him the cut. Maybe I should have sent him.
Oh,
the
you didn't
cut.
send him the cut?
No, but it seemed
Oh,
good.
my
Is that
God.
that common practice to send him to like look at it before it goes
Miles
live?
Dubois.
Well, I don't have the team like Pehlke over here, so I kind of just like edit it up, get it up. You know.
And then you post it, and then it's all good. It's all good. Now we know.
It was good though. I think I didn't put any bad things on him. So
Let's just hope that getting this out there, Piscino sees it. He makes
yeah, maybe Piscino.
I can
text me
guarantee
back, please.
Piscino's not watching this.
Dude, he goes, text me back, please.
Did you text him back? He didn't text you back?
No, I was like, dude, thank
That's
you so
borderline
much.
disrespectful.
I know. I was
You
in
can,
his
you can
corner.
come to my side.
I don't want to make it seem like it's bad. It's just
We
like,
can
it's
slide the
pretty-
chair over.
It is awful.
Yeah, that
But
is
it's not
awful.
because social media is a business.
Yes,
No,
it
but
is a
it
business.
It's a
wouldn't be
business.
awful if Dukes didn't explain what was going on in Albany with.
Yeah, can you explain?
Dude, the
We went over this.
The glazing was crazy.
Yeah, we're starting to
you
worry
were like,
about
go,
Miles.
Jakey, go, Jakey,
I was
go.
giving
We're on
Yeah,
Prez Row. We're on Prez Row, and Miles Dubois is cheering for not a team, one player.
Yeah,
Great
no.
guy, great guy,
Great guy.
Just because they did a video together.
Just because they did a video together.
And then to get no text back
No
and no
text
follow
back
back,
is crazy.
I'd be upset. And
know.
by the way, I support you and I'm here for you as a friend.
Yeah, I know. I was in
The
his
Dukes
corner.
to Dukes connection, I got you back.
Let's go. Same name, basically. Just one letter off.
New news: Brown hires John Torpey. I like this hire a lot. I do.
I do, and he's bringing Wisnauskas over to be his offensive coordinator.
I
as
like
well,
that.
From High Point.
Wisnauskas seems like a wizard. In the coaching booth, obviously has been at High Point for the past 2 years.
Yeah, I believe 2 years.
And now they're going to Brown. I like this hire. I think John Torpey's a great guy.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a respected guy. They haven't had the results the last 2 years, but High Point's a hard place to win, as we know
Yeah.
that. And they a couple years back, that 1 year they beat UVA and Duke in the same year with
Yeah.
Asher and Troutner. Like
Yeah.
the job he did there is great. I think he'll do great at Brown.
No, the John Torpey move from High Point to Brown. Do we see that as a move that it looks horizontally, or is that
no,
is that a
that's
move
definitely
upward?
up. That's an Ivy League. That's to the moon up.
Do you think it's
night and
do you
day.
think it's easier to recruit at Brown than High Point?
1,000,000%. You all,
That's
100 million.
questionable.
100
dude, they're not even in the same category, dude.
Yeah, yeah,
Brown
no.
and High Point.
Dude.
Are you on?
I'm
Well,
asking you. I'm not
if you
debating.
get like the dummies from Maryland that like didn't do school too well,
Oh,
then
here we
High
go.
Point-
All right.
Salisbury's dynasty.
Miles.
It's just a
The
true
Brown-
thing. If you
Liam
can't get into
Intiman
Brown,
should not be in
The
the
Brown-
Toraton
if you just
conversation.
can't get into Brown, then you go to High Point. It's not even
I
like
understand
what
that,
are
but
you talking about?
You're okay, but I get where you're coming from. By the way,
It's just like
if you're like a dummy from Maryland or you're a dummy and like you want to play somewhere,
Yeah.
High Point's an option. There's a lot of schools like that though.
Yeah,
There's a lot
that's
of people.
true, that's
and
true.
The number one thing you should do when you're looking, at least, like probably go to the school. like,
Also,
academically.
where are the best players for the most part nowadays playing high school lacrosse? They're playing at Taft. They're
Yeah,
playing
they're
at
playing-
Brunswick.
yeah.
Those
Yeah,
are
Riverside.
elite.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get.
Riverside won their 5th straight championship again. That's all I got to say.
If
Hashtag stay
you go to
public.
Riverside, yes, you can High Point recruits there, but you want to get the top talents. At Brown wants to be at the top of the Ivy League.
Yeah, but let's not forget the academics at Riverside, a great public school in Virginia.
Dude, you were part of their first 4-year graduation class. That's cool.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Really?
That's nuts.
Yeah.
He was their first graduate.
they
The
started in
school just got
2016.
built.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And you guys
Dude,
won
they
a
just-
state championship?
Dude, they
straight
just built his high
state
school.
championships
How
in
did
a
that
row.
happen?
How is that
It's
possible?
what we do in Virginia. That's what we do.
No,
Just
because
hit the
they have
frog,
so
make
much land
videos.
and not enough schools, so they have to build new schools to keep up. with everyone
Riverside
moving in.
would wax Ridgewood. I just want to put that
That is
out
just
there.
Crazy.
Do you
That's
think so?
I don't want to
crazy.
say
No,
anything
it's
about
not true.
Garden City.
You would
'cause
not even touch
yeah,
us.
I wouldn't.
That's crazy.
But
Well,
we
we
would
would
have
beat Garden
waxed. We had talent. We had talent.
Get out of here.
That's crazy.
That's all I got to
That-
say.
That's just wild. But going back on that, though, the Brown High Point thing, the main talent is at the Brunswick, the Tafts. Those are
Yeah.
high elite
Yeah.
academic schools.
Yeah, that's true.
Those kids are, you can't recruit. John Torpey can't really go into Taft and talk to a dad who's paying $50,000 a year for his kid to go to Taft and be like, come
and
on.
I truly think
At
too,
that
the
point, you're burning
future
money. You might as well go to Riverside.
The future of recruits going to Ivy League is only going to like 2, 5, 10x.
Well,
I see more and more.
And I've
kids
said
going.
that, which is different than when we were getting recruited in 8th grade freshman year. Was I want to go to UNC, I want to go to
These
Virginia.
big-name label
Like
schools and
obviously they
everything.
still want to go there,
Yeah,
but my
yeah.
point more, I feel like now the top recruits are I want to go to Yale, I want to go to the
Yeah.
Ivies.
Yep.
Like I feel like no one was not considering Ivies, but
Yeah.
like it wasn't really your first choice when we were in the circuit.
Yeah.
Like the top kids were going to Maryland.
Yeah.
They're
But
still
the
going to
funny thing
Maryland.
about that is that when we were recruiting and committing in 8th grade, and then, it shut down, and then it opened up again for, like, that junior class,
Yeah.
everybody decommitted.
Yeah.
Because, like, what you wanted at 8th grade at 14 years old is different than you
Yeah,
want
but now
at, like,
you got
17.
freshman kids going like, I want to go to Yale. Back in the day when we were
Dude,
freshmen.
if you were 14 years old and you committed to a school and then the portal or then the recruiting opened up again when you were 17, where would you have committed to and then
Dude, I would have been
recommitted?
like, if I was smart, if I had like 20 more brain cells,
See, it's
I
special.
probably would have picked like Michigan. I'd be like, all right, let's go blue.
Yeah.
Like, let's go all in on the football thing, and then I'd be like, all right, like let me go to an Ivy.
Ah,
You
interesting.
mature a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
I like that. I like that. How much are we maturing at Garden City?
This guy.
I like that. Keep going, though. Will Manny's still not picked up.
Yeah.
That's one of the most surprising things about the league in my mind. You looking at a team like the 𝐓𝐇𝐄 that aren't doing good, potentially the last place in the league. Are you happy or are you still satisfied if you're Will Manny not on that roster?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough as a guy who led them in points last year, and you see them at 0-2 right now, really struggling offensively. Besides, TJ Malone has been a bright spot. The fact that guy fell to the 3rd round is still just
Yeah, it's
completely
still crazy.
ridiculous. But I think, yeah, you have to be like, that sucks,
Mm-hmm.
because you led the team in points, are struggling offensively. I don't know if Will Manny solves your problems, though, to be completely honest with you.
What team do we see Will Manny fit on best right now?
Man, it's tough.
It's so hard.
I don't know if there's a spot
I don't think
for
there's
him where
really
he
a
wants to
spot.
play, but
Yeah.
I'd say that if you're looking at like the past weekend, like a team like the Redwoods, potentially
Yeah.
to extend the
The
field.
What about
Redwoods-
the chaos?
No.
See, I
No.
don't think
He's not better
I
than
don't think
Hennenberg.
The only spot I'd put him is like instead of like Ty Kurtz.
No, I think
No,
Kurtz has got to
crazy
play.
take. Yeah, he's playing good.
Dude, it wasn't a take. I said the only spot he could like potentially take is Ty Kurtz.
It wasn't like you know what I meant, like not a take. But
Dude, he's on your side with
just-
Casino. Let him go.
No, I'm saying like
Gosh.
I
it
didn't.
wasn't
lay-
like your take. It's just like that's just like
Easy
crazy.
Salisbury.
I just think Will Manny, I hate to say it, I think he's kind of career is done. To be
Really?
honest with you, yeah. I
Do
just
you think
don't-
if he doesn't get picked up the whole year, do you think he retires?
I just don't really think like there's a spot for him anymore, honestly, and a spot that I think he fits and flourishes in, and I don't know.
really?
Again, like that's why I think like a Ty Kurtz. Like if you don't get production from Ty Kurtz, which I think he's one of the better shooters.
I think
in
he
the
could
league.
be a guy that sticks around. And
Yeah,
like,
but if you don't
pick
get
him up in
production
the
at
pool.
Ty Kurtz, do you go after a guy that's been playing in the league for 12 years?
Yeah, I do.
Really?
Yeah,
Could
I think Will.
Ty Kurtz could come out of the box too, right?
Sure, yeah.
So
if
then you
want
could
him
throw
to.
him
Yeah, like
in.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't like. I think Will Manny could come out of the box. I wouldn't necessarily say it's like his best attribute to a team. He's very good at extending the field. He's a great shooter. Finds the right guy. If you're looking at like the whip stakes and he's like, oh, like should he be upset? Should he be mad? No, because the person that replaced him is TJ Malone. Doesn't fit in the role that Rambo plays. Doesn't fit in the role that Zed
Can you
plays.
imagine if the Whip Snakes didn't have TJ Malone, by the way, right now? It'd be a lot worse.
I do think that this league is like, you lose 2 games, like, are they done? They stink. That's not true. The difference between the best team and the worst team is so small.
Yeah.
Like the margin is so minuscule.
And also, it's so much harder to pick these games, and we'll get into the pick'ems. But to pick a PLL game versus a college
Oh,
game,
yeah, it's
like
night and day.
It's so the line is so thin.
They lost to the Atlas, which I think we could agree right now is
Yeah.
like the most overhyped or the best team, however
Yeah.
you want to look at it. And then when you look at the Cannons, it was a team that finished first last year.
Yeah.
So it's not like just because you lose to 2 really good teams does not mean that like you have to like sound the alarms completely.
No, it's like the NFL. It's like the Jets can beat the Chiefs in Week 17, even though
Yeah.
they're the worst team in the league. It's how it goes.
Yeah,
Like,
it's how it goes.
College, it's more cut dry. It's
all matchup based too.
It's all
honestly.
That's
matchup
a big
based.
thing, too.
Who
And
had
then-
a good day and not? We'll talk about it later. But like the Outlaws are dead in the water until Brennan just said, "Give me that ball." But
Yeah,
you know,
and
like-
kind of going off that too, 2-time All-Star Connor Farrell still, hasn't gotten picked up yet.
Yeah, I
And-
think
and-
this shows you the state of faceoffs.
Yeah,
in
and
the-
obviously
in the league.
Weirman lighting up like deserves that position. But
Yeah.
like, do you see a team like the Water Dogs pick him up who doesn't have a face-off guy?
Potentially, I think they have Stathakis
Yeah.
like coming in like soon enough. Like I think Farrell, when you're looking at a guy, what does he do well? I think he wins clamps. I think that he's like good in the sense he can compete with some of the top guys. What he doesn't do well is the 32-second shot clock.
Yeah.
Like you kind of got to move the heat pretty fast. That's why Weirman's so good. That's why Trevor's so good. Nardella, like all these guys can do stuff, stay on the field for that 32 seconds. Farrell needs to get better at that.
Yeah,
But he dominated the box game this year.
I think for Farrell, like the one aspect he really struggled with last year was turnovers on that initial short clock. Like you said, we haven't seen him play this year, so we don't know. But they're not going to have long. You can't have a long pole anymore this year. Last year he had long poles harassing him, which might have been one of the issues he struggled with.
Yeah.
So if he does play this year, not going against long poles might help him out. I think a team that could look to pick him up would be potentially the Cannons down the stretch. They didn't suit up a face-off guy week 1.
Yep.
They suited up 𝐓𝐇𝐄 last week, who's a scrapper, good face-off guy, but not one of those like top elite guys. He's almost one of those guys you try for 2-3 weeks, and if he doesn't get it done.
Yeah.
And Farrell's still sitting there. Farrell's a vet. He's been in the league. I think if the Cannons are in a playoff push late in the year, I could see them trying to add Connor Farrell onto that roster. That would be like the one spot I think fits best, because all the other spots are locked up. Like assists on the Archers is locked.
Yeah.
Weirman's locked on the Outlaws. TD's locked on the Redwoods.
Would you say Nick Rowlett's locked on the Chaos?
I don't think he's locked, but
Really?
I think he's pretty safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say like on the safe meter of like 10's a lock and like 0 he's like goner. I think he's at like an 8 with the Chaos. Like I think he's pretty safe.
Interesting.
But I think again, like if he struggles a little down the stretch, that would probably be the second team I'd say pick him. But I still think the Cannons are the one to take him if that happens.
I think Rowlett's going to stay in the league no matter what, too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
even if he
I
gets
agree with
dropped,
that. Yeah.
And also Towers.
I like Rowlett. He's
Towers
good.
is
Scrappy.
so loyal.
Yeah,
that-
he's loyal.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't. You really have to play.
Rowlett's really good. He doesn't,
He's a good.
I don't think
great
he.
player.
I don't think he gets
He's
enough.
perfect for the
respect
league too
too.
with
He
his
is.
scrappiness.
Great guy.
But I was
scrappy.
gonna say, I think that position of a Will Manny or a Farrell is like the worst spot to be in right now. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, don't know what those guys do full time, but like, they're consistently training for the unknown right now. It's like they have to train and still be at the top of their game.
For Connor Farrell, it stinks too because he was one of the main faces, I want to say, of like that Chrome team.
Yeah.
And like as they rebranded, they kind of rebranded with Weirman. Now he kind of got flushed out. Like when you think of Chrome
you
last
think
year,
of the Milkman Farrell.
you think of the Milkman.
Yeah.
And now he kind of got phased out with the Chrome.
Yeah. And that's
So-
the business side.
and
of
that
the
is the
Premier
business side,
Lacrosse
which
League,
stinks.
You know?
Because
one of the
Farrell's a
stuff-
great guy for
Yeah.
the sport too. I love him
Yeah.
on RJ's
Yeah.
vlogs.
Yeah.
That's also one thing that pisses me off, like seeing like some comments being like, "Oh my god, like the milk guy can't stay in the league." It's like, dude, just because he showed like some personality doesn't mean he wasn't good at the sport. Like he wasn't like an all-star because he drank milk like one time.
Yeah.
Because he was really good.
Yeah.
He's like a top 4 face-off guy in the league.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not, it wasn't like that crazy for
Yeah.
him to be like, yeah, like I like milk and I'm good at face-offs. Like people were just like, I saw a little bit of that, like, oh, he's not good. He was good.
Yeah.
No, he was good.
He is good.
Yeah.
He
Let's
is
not get it twisted. All right, well, let's keep it moving. In week 2, PLL. We're on site at Albany for week 1. Week 2 was in Charlotte. The Chaos, home city, homecoming. First game, Chaos versus the Redwoods. Chaos took it, 12-11. Initial thoughts from the squad.
Yeah, no, I think Chaos looked good. Redwoods, we didn't know what to expect. They didn't play week 1.
Yeah.
So they just came out for their second time here. But I don't know.
I think
Austin
Chaos-
Cott stepped up in net, 61%, taking over for Blaze.
Were
for
we
this
worried
week.
about the Blaze situation?
No, it's just the difference for me is, I think it's like people forget how good Austin Kaut was
Yeah.
in his prime. He was
Yeah.
like a goalie of the year in college,
Yep.
like very, very good player. Blaze just takes you to a whole
Whole
nother
nother
level.
level.
Like you could play a
Whole
style.
nother
You
level.
could play a style of defense that is legitimately you do not slide. 'Cause
Blaze-
you don't have to.
Is Blaze Reardon the best goalie in the world
I
right
think
now?
he is.
He's the best goalie
I
of all
think,
time.
yeah. But Blaze,
Of all time.
Yeah, Paul agrees. Paul says the same thing.
the
I think
thing
he's
with
the best goalie
Blaze
ever.
too that Towers got to be hyped with is Blaze's injury was very scary in Albany last
Yeah.
week. It looks like he'll be back hopefully this week. It was
Yeah.
only like this week he was out.
And that's something you don't
to
rush.
get 61% from
Right.
Austin Cott is like huge.
But if you're Austin right now,
Yeah.
you use that as leverage to get picked up and be a starter by another team.
No, I don't think
No,
Where else could he
he's
go?
a long-time loyalty guy. He was
Yeah.
a long-time chaos guy. I think he's
If
fine
let's say
about
he
that.
uses that as leverage, what team would he even go to?
There's no room.
There's no room.
I don't even think that he's
There's no
going to
room.
use it as leverage.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that's so happy in his position, loves being
He
like,
loves
with
it,
Blaze,
yeah.
loves being with Towers,
Yeah. Yep.
locker room guy, culture
Completely
guy.
agree,
Yeah,
Dukes.
yeah,
Completely
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
I think we'll talk about it later. The only goalie that would have that claim is when Enterman eventually takes over for Timmy, which
Yeah.
probably at some point, the way Tim's playing, I think
he's got even more
He's want to
leverage.
go
Yeah.
get somewhere else and be like, I can start somewhere else.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's the only that would. Be,
Our initial thoughts, obviously, Redwoods didn't play week 1. Redwoods this season, I feel like a couple vets on that team.
Yeah.
Obviously, didn't get it done. Our initial thoughts on the Redwoods and how they played.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Redwoods guy. I've been a Redwoods fan since the beginning. There's
Which is
just
still,
something.
I don't know how. Like,
There's just
you know,
something to me.
California.
Well, they weren't California in 2019.
How'd you pick them?
How'd I pick them?
Yeah.
I like the logo the best.
All right, I like that.
good reason.
Say it with your chest.
I like
When
that.
it came
I like
out,
that.
I like the logo. I just think there's some missing. I don't want to say blow it up, but I'll say blow it up. I think it's, I don't know. I just think it's a little stale, Dukes. The Redwoods.
What do you say? Blow it up. What's your take? What you got something inside of you? Like, why do you think? Say with your chest.
I think it's a little stale. I think eventually RP3 retires this year.
Ooh, there it is. We got it out of him. Why do you think that?
I just think we need a little young blood in there.
Wow. Interesting.
I think we need a little young blood in there.
Interesting.
I think the Redwoods were at their peak at the beginning, those first 3 years.
Yeah.
They made it close, but never got it done. And then ever since, I think it's been kind of not that mediocrity of like, we're not bad enough to blow it up, but we're not good enough to compete. We're kind of hovering in like that 4 to 6, 7 range.
Yeah, interesting.
And like 1 week we're 4, then we drop to 6, then we're up to 5, back to 7, up to 4. Like
a lot of numbers.
I feel like we're not legit contenders, but like we're like scraping the middle where it's not like, all right, you're like the Chrome, like get him out of here.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I think with the amount of talent they had the first couple of years, it's at times it was underwhelming.
Yeah.
Like even that first year they made the championship game and that comeback, they barely made the playoffs. They made the playoffs because of the goal differential. They went on a run.
Yeah.
This year, look, I think they played pretty well. I thought that they fought for a while. I was like, I took the chaos on DraftKings and I was like, okay, like no, but like I took them and I was like, all right, this is easy.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I go to the bathroom, Redwood's going on a run. Made it an exciting game.
Yeah.
No, I
but
like
that controversy at the end with the no reset was crazy too.
Yeah, what do you think?
And we might be talking
What's
about
the
it
Maddie
in a different
Pehlke
light.
hate? I don't love that.
Dude, Cat made a chicken wing save. It was clearly off of him. And
It's necessary.
Okay, so do we think PLL needs to have replay?
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
I think so. This is it. Like, there's like, I love Maddie P. I think it's unnecessary. Like, sometimes, but I do think in this sense, when you have that call where they needed Maddie P to be like, hey, this needs to be reviewed, and he was like, no, that's not we're not going to review that. It was in his hands.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like if you agree.
Yeah, but is he saying that because that's what he thinks, or that's what the rule is?
So he's saying if he thought it should be reviewed, they would have reviewed it, right?
He didn't think.
Oh, that's the rule. It's up to the ref.
It's up to the refs
at that time.
At a certain time, like under a minute, but like that
he couldn't
it's the ref's
challenge.
decision.
But he called
But
a
to me,
timeout.
why doesn't Maddie Pehlke just say like, let me make sure? Was he that confident? Like, I always remember too. Maddie Pehlke's the GOAT official. We
know
love
that.
him. But like, you know what I mean, dude?
No, I just think that like in that sense, if you make that call, you're gonna have to be okay with the repercussions.
Yeah.
Like if you leave that locker room and you see like, oh, I was wrong.
Yeah.
You got to deal with like people being like, you blew the game or any flack that you catch. I was trying to think. I was gonna say flashback. I was like, what's the word? Flack.
Dayton, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I just think it's tough because for the Redwoods' perspective, like they would have had a fresh clock there. Like it said, they picked it up.
Definitely changed the game.
Oh yeah,
100%.
It gives them a chance there, and they had 6 off the pickup, Dukes, at the end. I think on the reset.
No,
And
it's interesting. It's like
it sucks.
I mean, the game's going to continue to change. We're seeing that actively right now with the college game, different rules being implemented. So we'll potentially see maybe after this PLL season what Paul and Mike and the league do. But obviously, Chaos walk away with the win in that first week. Early on the Redwoods, do we see them in the upper half of the rankings or lower half?
I think they're in I'd say right now, the 5 or 6 spot. Would you be fair with that, Dukes? You think lower? I think they're above the Whip Snakes for sure.
Definitely above the Whip Snakes. I think that's
Interesting.
about it. Maybe.
No.
Because the Outlaws.
I'll
won.
put them at 6. I'll put them at 6.
I don't know.
I'll put them at 6.
I think you guys are lower on the whips than I probably. am.
So do you think the Redwoods are bottom 2 in the league?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's not disrespect either.
No. Yeah. I'm not disrespect. Yeah.
Like it's just this league is so tough.
It's
if
so
I
tough.
had to draw down my personal rankings right now, no. Like we'll get into the next game.
Yeah.
We'll get to the next game. Archers Outlaws. I mean, best game.
The game of the season so far.
Game of the season so far. Brennan O'Neill was picked number 1 for this reason. Showed out. I mean, 9 points, 7 in 1 quarter. That's got to be
with OT.
PLO,
Yeah. I mean,
a PLO record. But general thoughts on. I mean, there's no way Wisnauskas can go back to playing.
no, that was the key. That was the key here.
And we talked about this on probably the first 2 episodes. We didn't think O'Neill should go 1 because of this reason. Now, if you guys are student, what are you doing with Wisnauskas?
Well, Wisnauskas is in a tough spot for 2 reasons. For one reason, his spot is gone completely.
It's gone.
And it sucks. And that's what we talked about. We talked about in the past. This league is so competitive. You pull 1 hamstring or miss 1 week, like your literal career could be like.
No, literally.
Like off. Like Wisnauskas right now is like he's probably going to be a member of the Outlaws this year. I don't think he can play midfield. He's definitely not starting to attack now.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to be on that hover of fringe waiver wire, shoot him up for a week, maybe try and trade. Like, he may not physically, like, play a game where he scores or is an impact player for the Outlaws again.
And that's what we were talking about.
And that's what we talked about. I think it's interesting, too. Brennan got a lot of hate last week because he played midfield, didn't have a crazy productive game, but he wasn't playing his spot. Everyone was Shelley, 8 points, 8 points, 8 points, blah, blah. Now you see Brennan down in his natural position.
Lighten it up.
Why he went number one. And this reminded me of what Paul said as well. Paul said his first game, he played in the MLL. He's one of the only guys back in the day who didn't have a real job. He was like one of, I think he said 4 or 5 guys who were just strict lacrosse.
Yep.
He had just only 1 goal, no assists in his first game. People on the bus like, dude, you're a boss, blah, blah. He had 4 and 3 week 2.
Yeah.
So that reminded me of what Brennan.
Of Brennan. But what do you do? I think there's a big question mark of, like, for the Outlaws now, right? Like, do you hold on to a guy like Wisnauskas? And, you know, obviously we don't know how much he makes. But if you get rid of a guy like that, does that open up space to get a new guy? Or are you more, you know, getting rid of him for a potential draft pick next year?
You said trade him, right? Trade him for a draft pick.
No, I mean, I think that you have to see what he can do out of the box first. Like, you see someone like Colin Heacock was able to, like, go from, like, attack, be a big attackman, like, and come out of the box and be pretty productive. I don't know. They're in a tough spot, too, because your trade value for him, you want to get, like, a 2nd or 3rd round pick from him. But if he's not starting and you don't show that he has value to your team, his value diminishes. So you might have to just either release him at the end of the year or trade him for, like, you know, a 5th rounder or something.
Yeah.
Which is
but is there a
crazy
team that, like, needs Logan Wisnauskas right now?
Logan Wisnauskas is
he's a good enough player.
I agree with that. But is there a team that's going to be willing right now to be like, all right, I know they got to move him. Do I risk a 2nd round, 3rd round pick to get him this week or next week? Because you know that Sudan's starting to think the strategy-wise, like, all right, are we going to try and trade him? Are we going to try and ride him out for the rest of the year? Like,
and honestly,
that thought is
if you're a
starting
coach
to go.
in the PLL and you know these players are lacrosse coaches, that's definitely a plus, right? Because you know these guys are going to have their stick in their hand. You know, they're around the game. Do you think that plays a big mindset for a coach picking a guy, whether a guy's obviously a coach or taking lacrosse full-time rather than a guy's doing finance in the city?
No,
I
don't
know.
think it matters.
Really? You don't think it matters? Dude,
Dude, this situation is strictly this is like a Liam Entenmann Troutner situation to me. Logan Wisnauskas knew that you have the literal prodigy, maybe the greatest prospect in all of the history of our sport, coming in. That kid was going to start at lefty attack, whether it was week 6 next year. Like, Logan knew he was getting replaced at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily true.
Yeah,
either.
I don't think that's true.
I think
you think Logan thought he was just that Brandon was never going to start at his natural position?
I think that he thought that, but I don't think he thought, like, oh, he's going to steal, like, take my job.
Well,
I just thought they're just going to make it fit somehow.
Yeah.
Like, whether it was like
Well,
a
then
fluid
whose
The
job
only
was he
way
gonna
to make
take?
it fit is
I
if
mean,
I just
Brennan
thought that he
plays
was
his
going to run out
natural
of the
position.
box.
Yeah, like, I think
You thought he's going to run in the box
I
the whole
think-
year?
Well, yeah. I
Dude,
think
there's
just
no
the whole
way,
year,
dude.
I mean, it's
Well,
also like,
I
guys,
didn't know if he was going to be good out of the
Dude,
box.
this is the greatest prospect in the history of
This
this.
is
Yeah,
a
but he
LeBron
also
James
ran-
style
he's
cat.
He's not
also
running
ran-
out of the box the entire
He
season.
ran out of the box in, like,
Yeah.
in the world games,
And
and he's
he
MVP.
got
Like,
all
it's
world.
not
Like,
it's
it's
not
not
that
the
crazy to be
craziest
like,
I think it's crazy.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like,
That was a unique situation, I think, because he was a he was a college kid still playing with all the vets. and the
Wisnauskas
pros.
was a #1 pick 2 years ago.
I
It was,
agree,
like,
but
four
he's not,
time winner.
Yeah.
he is not Brendan O'Neill in any way, shape, or
Well,
form.
I just don't, like, I agree. Like, it's just like, if you're picking, probably they were going to have a fluid situation where, like, Logan was coming out of the box, Brennan was coming out of the box at some points. Like, it was only week 1. We only saw them play week 1 together. Like, we don't have to worry about, like, we're getting way down the line of these. Like,
But
they
to
have
me,
blow up,
it's
like, the
fit
whole-
Logan where else you can fit him. You drafted Brendan O'Neill #1 overall to be the cornerstone of your franchise for decades to come. He's playing his natural position. Logan either figures it out and plays midi, or he's out of there.
Yeah.
That's how it goes in my mind.
Yeah.
You don't just have Brennan.
Okay,
oh,
so
Logan
let's talk
was
about
there.
this.
Let me have Brennan play
O'Neill
midfield.
is staying at lefty attack the whole
Yes,
season.
he
What
has
are you
to.
doing with Wisnauskas? Are you getting him to the post so
No,
somebody can pick
I
him up,
agree
or are
with
you
Dukes.
bringing him
I
out
agree
of the
with
box?
Dukes. You
Try
see
him
what
out
you
of the
have with
box.
him out of the box.
Yeah.
If he doesn't produce in a week or two, to me personally, I think you look to trade him. If you can't trade him, release him and try and pick someone. I wouldn't waste a roster spot on him, because if you don't think he can get it done at midfield and no one's going to trade for him, if you've tested the waters and no one's trading for him, you might as well release him now and pick up someone else who can help your team.
I mean, because you
then
can
have him
shift
ride,
around
because you're
that
going to
attack,
drop him at
right?
the end
So
of the
you got
year anyway.
You got Millen, or you got O'Neill over here. You got Mooner, Jack Myers, at
Zawada.
X, and then you have Zawada.
Yeah.
Wisnauskas can't play those other
No.
two spots.
That's my point. You test the waters with trading right now, Sudan. If no one's interested in him, I think you release him to the pool because why waste a roster spot on him when you're going to release him to the pool at the end of the year anyway?
Yeah.
You can still try to work with him.
Yeah,
I mean, like I see what you're
it's just
saying.
gonna all depend on what he does out of the box.
It's 1 week. You can't like blow the
No,
whole
I'm
thing
not.
up.
I don't think blow it up, but I think to have Brennan like play midfield, like that's the guy you drafted to be the best player in your team for years to come. He needs to play his natural position.
No, he definitely does, but I think it's the question mark of like, can Wisnauskas perform out of the box? And that's kind of the question mark right now.
Up to
Well,
me.
you could also see if they could work together on attack. It's not like the craziest thing to be like, oh, like there's
Yeah,
probably
but who do you put at X then?
You don't really need an ex-attackman.
Yeah.
You just switch your
You could-
offense.
Yeah. Bang.
Have him
To
on a
me,
high wing.
it's the problem that I'm
Because
just.
you know Brennan likes that high
Mitch,
wing.
like
He
Like
doesn't
Jack,
like the low
Jack
wing.
Myers, who played fucking great, and I love him as like as a player. Somebody like him would probably be like, all right, like if you want to keep Wisnauskas, see, like you spend a number 1 pick on him. Like Jack Myers, I think is a more fluid situation who could like, come out of the box.
Yeah.
And then like you flip him to like come out of the box and like kind of take that route around to X.
But honestly,
playing with Moon though, I love Moon at his natural spot.
Well, I'm saying
He's
you come out of the box and you have
but
like
Zawada's can play at X too.
but you have an invert attack. You give an invert midfielder who knows how to play attack. You
Yeah.
put him behind the cage, like
I mean, honestly, I like Moon going to the box and Wisnauskas taking his spot if you're going to stick with
right. Like I'm just like there's other ways that they could fit together right now than just to blow it up. But I think that just that fourth quarter when they were down 7, and I'm just like, man, like easy money, like easy dub, like just here we go. And then it was just Weirman bang, Weirman bang, Weirman bang.
And how about that stat? TLN put it up. What was it in the fourth
12
quarter?
of 14 in the fourth and OT.
Against
Wild.
Sis too.
Wild.
Against Sis. I mean, it kind of shows you the young talent. The young talent.
I think
this young kid from College
Weirman
Park getting it done.
Yeah, Weirman's showing a lot of teams who don't dress face-off guys why you dress a face-off guy, I think, too. His ability to stay in the field, win draws, it was really good, especially against a guy like Sis, who's, one of the best in the league. He's proved that already.
Yeah.
And,
and just Brennan, just in general, it was so inevitable. Like he just got reminded, like, oh, right, I'm bigger, faster, stronger, and better at lacrosse than everybody. And honestly, like I know people are talking about it on like Twitter and stuff. People are saying tough look for Dino. Like that's what people are saying. That's what the streets are saying.
He's starting to press the heater.
I didn't do that. No, people are legitimately being like
Are they saying that?
Oh my God, yeah.
Lax Twitter?
Lax Twitter.
But the thing with Brennan too is it wasn't like, oh, Brennan got fed, cut. Like it was like, give Brennan the ball. Everyone knows that Brennan is getting the ball, and like you still can't stop it.
Yeah.
Like it was like Brennan hit that 2 where his foot was on the line, and he was like, all right, you said my foot was on the line, I'll step an inch back and then I'll hit it 2.
Bang,
right after. Like it was a complete takeover, like Michael Jordan-esque type.
No,
game
it really
at the
was,
end.
and it was just like I could do nothing about it.
Yeah.
It was 2 things too. It was against Sis that Weirman was dominating against, and then against one of the best goalies in Dauber.
Yeah.
So that was the most impressive part to me.
And then the last point I'll say, sneaky season so far for the Archers. Trey Leclerc has been phenomenal.
LaFleur lighting it up. 5 Gs
That offense is
for the
phenomenal.
Italian Canadian.
Trey's had an amazing start to this year.
Yeah. No.
Mac is amazing.
Yeah.
Like the Archers,
I mean, they have the talent.
and I'll say this: still, bottom 2 team in the league for me. Outlaws.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
again,
this reminds me
You
like
put the Whips over the Outlaws?
Potentially.
Wow.
This reminds me of the Michigan Princeton hype we had where they have like 1 week like this. Like, let's not forget, like, the Outlaws were like getting blown out in that game until Brandon was like, give me that ball and take it over. Like, that can't happen every week.
Like, I'll say that really quick, and then I know we have to like move on.
Yeah.
But it was like, it's just like, you show me who you are. You guys were bad for 7 quarters.
Yeah.
You had a really good fourth quarter. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
If Brendan plays like the fourth quarter, next game for 4 quarters, I'm like, okay, word. They got, like, they're good. Like, they're not like bottom 2 team, but like, I only saw 1 good quarter.
That's what I'm saying.
It was the best quarter I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was.
But I need to see a full body of work.
Then hopping into Saturday's game, we have the Chaos versus the Atlas. Obviously, the Atlas called the W, and we have Slim Reap live.
the Reaper
on set.
live.
Clap it up for
There it
Reap.
is. God, he's handsome.
Slim, how we doing?
Doing good. I'm wondering about that sign on your desk.
Yes, sir. That's why we got it rolling. Where are we coming from? Where are we at right now?
We are currently at a Hilton in Baltimore now, getting ready for US 6's camp.
Wow, I like that. How we sleep last night? Good?
Not great. Not great.
Not great. We're in Baltimore getting it rolling. Initial thoughts from this past weekend, obviously Chaos versus Atlas.
Good win. That was a good team. I think they were the last undefeated team so far, so good win. I know it's their second game, so they're a little tired, but scraped it out in the end. So we're pretty pumped to be 3-0.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. Who guarded you?
Bowen, my buddy from a long time.
How do we feel that matchup was?
I mean, every defenseman's really good. I think he's a great defenseman. I think Connor did a great job getting me open off ball, and then Jeff just finding seams everywhere. So all the defensemen that cover me are great. But
why in your opinion, do you think Shelley fits so well on that team? Obviously, minus half the team potentially being UVA guys.
I think that's the first part of it, is a ton of UVA connection, and then you put Shelley anywhere, he's going to make an impact. I mean, he's just that talented of a player, but I think we have an offense that allows for like a lot of transition, which Shelley's used to, a lot of cutters off ball, a lot of feeding trailers. So I think it's just like a match made in heaven for Connor just to be dissecting defenses with us.
Yeah, definitely. When you got into the league last year, who was your biggest mentor that kind of helped you become who you are?
I think Eric Law was huge. I mean, we're so similar. It's funny, in practices we'll be doing like the exact same cut and be in the exact same spot and kind of on top of each other, and we'd kind of laugh like one of us has to think differently. We're just doing the same thing. But talking with him and understanding the off-ball position the way he does, and being like having someone else who is so bought into playing that role was really nice to be able to sort of like throw ideas off of and learn from.
Yeah, and kind of going off the sign, Atlas overhyped ?
Wow.
I mean, coming off like
Wow.
we talked last week. You guys won 2 games last year, and you guys did that in week 1. Coming into this year, 3-0, best team in the league. Is the sign true?
I don't know yet. It's too early to tell. I mean, we're just last year we weren't great, and now we're just a good ball club. So
yeah.
I don't know if we're overhyped yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. What's the biggest takeaway from last year to this year, obviously, besides, some of the draft picks and new guys?
I think our locker room just has like a calm confidence. I mean, Chaos made a late push in that game, but no, same with the Whip Snakes. We were up like 10-1.
Yeah.
Made like 8 in a row, but Jeff Teet's so calm, and Doc Sakin. We just so many guys in the huddle. You just look around and everyone's like, we're gonna be fine. Like, we're not really too worried ever. So I think that just helps a lot, just a sense of calmness in the huddle in the locker room.
Yeah, and what's the situation? What's the deal with Troutner and Entenmann?
No, I mean, Troutner's playing well. I mean, it's insane. Our team, our backup goalie right now for the moment is Liam Entenmann.
Yeah.
So that just shows
It's crazy.
how deep we are.
Is there can you give us any insight what the future's going to hold? Like, what does that look like? What's Pressler saying right now? If we had Pressler on the show, what's he saying?
I have no idea what Mike Pressler's saying. I don't know. He's keeps it tight to the chest. So I don't know what he's thinking, but I mean, we go into practices every time, and he always says like every position's up for grabs. We'll discuss the lineup at the end of the practice. So we'll see who keeps playing better.
Yeah, and give us one similarity and one difference between Pressler and the legendary Lars Tiffany.
That's a good question.
Give me a similarity first and then a difference second.
Similarity, they both want to play like physical. Coach Pressler spells physical with an F, no silent letters. Everything we do is aggressive and
Ooh, I like that.
to the point. So
Dr. Pressler.
both play a physical brand of ball. And then differences, I think, I don't know. I mean, they're so different in so many ways. I'd say Coach Pressler is more just like X's and O's. We need to figure out game plans and get ready to go. And then Coach Tiffany is a big culture guy and sort of off the field stuff like that. Like, we read a lot of books and get ready in that way. But Coach Pressler just wants the whistle to blow and roll the balls out and play.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
I know. I didn't really know what you were
Lars
going
is
to
just
say.
such an icon in the sport.
Yeah.
I got one for you, Xander. That play, take me through that play when you were cutting into the crease and then out, and Jeff Teet just put it perfectly in your stick, snapped it with like a second. What was going through your head? Because in my head, I was like, that was legitimately the coolest lacrosse play of the season, in my opinion. What was going through your mind?
I was just thinking that Jeff Teet's a wizard for like the 10th time this season. I mean, I've said it before, there's a lot of plays where you turn and I look for the ball, but I can just feel the weight of it in my stick. And I'm like, oh my God, Jeff already put it in my head. So you kind of just like turn, react, realize that he's already got you the ball and you just got to get it off quick so that you can help Jeff on his tour of greatness he's on right now.
Yeah, literally. I mean,
That's
again,
on
we
tear,
obviously
dude.
just finished up week 2. Is it too early to say Jeff Teet getting the league MVP this year, Jim Brown Award?
It's tough. I mean, he could be the first player to reach 50 points, and I don't see why he won't, why
Yeah.
he can't.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to tell. And obviously, just with the core, obviously, you, Shelley, and him down there, like that's potentially the best attack squad in the league for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't know, like I've met Teet, filmed with Teet, great guy, not a lot of words, very calm dude. What does he tell you and Shelly out there? Obviously, being teammates, he probably says more than a couple words, but what's his mentorship on you two?
It's hilarious. He's one of a kind, Jeff T, for how good he is and how little he says. Like, we'll ask him questions. And he's kind of just like, I don't care, let's just play ball. Like, he just so
I love that.
You're like, would you rather us be here? You want us to cut here, like sit on the backside? He's like, come on, I don't know, let's just play ball. And so it's just like,
is that how all Canadians are? I go to Ohio State, like we had so many
Yeah.
Canadians on there, and they didn't talk at all.
Talk.
Yeah, we're all trained to be like X's and O's, where are we going, what do we do? And the Canadians are like, just roll the ball out. I must just score the ball. Yeah,
I
Trevor
love that.
Baptiste and T, like two different, complete.
Yeah, do those guys talk at all at practice?
How's those guys talking?
Trevor's to each other. I don't know. Trevor's doing his own the face-off stuff. So, but yeah, Trevor's in the shooting drills with us. They're hilarious. But Jeff is just hitting corners and then wandering to the back of the line, smiling.
I love that. I love that.
I got one more for you. The chaos, the way that they play defense, they kind of own their matchups, don't slide much, and you can do that with a goalie like Blaze. Obviously, he didn't play this weekend against you guys, so you weren't able to see that look. But what was the biggest challenge that that team gave you guys or that defense presented to you guys? What was the biggest challenge the chaos presented?
I mean, their biggest threat right now is their transition. They got us a couple times. We knew that. They have a lot of guys that are two-way guys and a lot of guys that play two-way and indoor. So I think 𝐓𝐇𝐄 got one. 𝐂𝐂 probably got one. Just stopping that. Like, if they do make a stop, they do play physical ball. And, like, Jeff was taking some good hacks from Newman.
Yeah.
I know that was hit Shelly one high and late.
Yeah.
Me and Bellin were kind of just chilling together on ball. But, if they do make that stop, you're left with some bruises, and you got to get up and go the other way because they're going to shove it down your throat in the backside. So definitely being ready to drop back in the hole, and they got us a few times.
Who do you got this? You got Redwoods this week? Redwoods this weekend?
Yeah.
What do you got with that? Preview that matchup there. You think who you got on? Do you know who's the game plan there? What do you got moving for that game? The Redwoods need a win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Redwoods need to win. Alice need to keep winning. So we'll see who budges. But, I mean, they're a good team. Everyone's a good team. They can stretch the field. They got a lot of deep two shooters, so that can really hurt you and take some momentum take the wind out of your sail, sort of. But I don't know, just playing our brand of ball, and I think we're passing the ball like twice as much as anyone else right now. So
yeah,
keeping the ball hot, giving it to Jeff and Connor, and letting things happen.
Roll the ball out.
Yeah, who in your opinion is the biggest hack in the league? Just like
a lot of guys.
I mean, we were obviously there, saw you week one of PLL. We're sitting on Pres Row. You could feel the hacks. I mean, just like they're coming so hard. Who, in your opinion, is just like a guy you're just like, all right, my arm could potentially be broken after this game?
Week one was brutal. The whole Canada's defense. I think I switched double pads after that game, so I was like, this is ridiculous. But
just gotta wear like double elbow pads.
Yeah, I wore like these little nothings. I thought it looked cool, and I was like, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
But, Newman was giving Jeff some good ones.
Yeah.
Newman was giving Jeff some good ones. I mean, Epple lays a boom. Bryce Young throws his stick around a lot. A lot of guys.
I mean, I think I asked you this last year, and I think your answer actually was Mike Manley. Is he still?
Well, I think you said who's like the toughest, biggest fighter guy, and I was like, Mike Manley scares the crap out of me.
Yeah. I mean, you and Mike Manley wrestle. How many seconds? How many seconds are you giving yourself?
Hey, yo.
I don't even think I'd measure it in seconds. I think he would pull me right away.
Yeah, I like that. What can we expect at Atlas, going forward into the season? Obviously, starting out great, all the hype right now, all the talk. What's Pressler saying about the media? What are you guys saying internally just about, staying tunnel visioned?
I mean, you kind of just said it head on, staying tunnel vision. We don't really we just get, like after games, like we just have fun. We have beers after the game. We all hang out.
Yeah.
But no one gets too caught up with it. I think the big thing, too, is that we're looking really, really, really good. Liam Entman's our backup right now. Jake Stevens hasn't played. Peyton Cormier hasn't played. Like, we still have guys.
Yeah, you
Brian
got talent.
Costa was out with injury.
It's pretty crazy when you say that. We didn't even think about that. But, I mean, you look at that squad right now, like,
they're so deep and so talented.
The line,
everywhere.
like they have, like their bench is still solid.
Are the Atlas too good? Do they have too many good players? Stay tuned.
Yeah, because when Stevens and Cormier get activated, that's an
I
issue.
know.
That could
It'll be
potentially
interesting.
be an issue.
Yeah.
Is Cormier, coming from UVA, like he's gonna want to play.
No, you can't be too. I mean, you saw it in our opening weekend. Shelly went down, and we just activated a former Torpey winner and Dylan Moore.
It's so
Yeah, it's
crazy. It's so
By
crazy.
the way,
That's how
he had the
ridiculous
sideline
it is.
swap Warrior cleats from 2005.
Yeah, that was
there.
crazy. I meant to
Hilarious.
mention that too.
I mean, those things were straight off sideline swap,
Yeah, dude,
or
I
they
think-
he got called up and he got him out of his garage.
Yeah. I love
He
that.
loves those things. He doesn't shut up at his like 2005 Lacrosse Unlimited cleats. But yeah, I mean, like that's how insane this roster in this league is. That Shelly goes down, it's like, all right, we'll just bring our tour winner in. Like he'll just hurt you. So it's impressive.
I
Our
love
bench
that.
right now.
Has there been a change in, because I don't know, from like an outside looking in perspective, I've noticed it seems like Pressler's kind of changed his like outlook or the way that he like addresses the team or just the way that he's like carrying himself. And maybe it's just because you guys are 3-0, he looks happier. But has he changed any way that he approaches the game from last year to this year, coming to the pros?
I mean, naturally, just your mood changed. Like we would just lose every single game last year, so everyone was like getting down on each other, yelling at each other. So Pressler's like, he's happy right now. He deserves a lot of this credit for our success right now. Like he's the head coach, he's the GM. He made a lot of moves in the offseason to get us to this spot. But I think he's like a little calmer. We were talking on the bus. I got a penalty at the end of that chaos game, like a wrap check, stupid, got him in the helmet, just went right to the box. I knew it. And he was like very calm. And I got on the bus and he brought it up. And I was like, yeah, I was surprised you didn't yell at me there. He was like, I wanted to, but I'm getting older right now. So he's trying to like not be as angry. But then he gave me on the bus a little bit. But I think he's just like calmer, happier. He's finally got his squad and he's showing everyone like why he's Mike Preston, one of the greatest coaches of all time.
Yeah.
It's like he knows. The guy knows ball. The
Yeah.
guy is a great GM, and he knows moves he needed to. And now we're winning.
Yeah,
Knows ball.
I was so wrong about him.
Yeah.
I have a question. So I'm trying to be a better off-ball guy for my
Wow.
DP. Stevens Tech.
Yes,
kid
I wanted
Yes.
this.
You're one of the best off-ball guys in the game. Can you
Glazing's
give me some
crazy.
tips?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I think I got a lot of my off-ball not like I wasn't an off-ball guy going into college, and then I talked to Sean Kerwin, who's the head coach of Dartmouth now, who's my OC at UVA. And he just showed me like everything. But the biggest thing is you have to have the hand. So I think just getting on the wall and stuff and then getting creative and knowing that you have to get balls off quick and not typically a lot of times it's not like the shot you want to take, but a shot you have to make.
Yep.
So I was just getting used to like imagining there was like Sean Kerwin throw me bad passes and on our practice field and then be like, you can't release it on the right side. So like twisters, like shovel shots, like all that stuff looks fancy and stuff, but it's because it's like the smarter shot in that moment. So just being able to release from like uncomfortable places and places you don't want to be shooting from. I think getting comfortable with that was huge. And then just kind of lulling your defenseman to sleep. In the PLL, the biggest thing is a lot of these defensemen are like their top cover guys from their colleges. And they're all like big, amazing, talented defensemen. So none of them want to be covering the small off ball guy. Like they want to go make a play.
Yeah.
So you kind of use that against them and like bait them, bring them close to Connor and Jeff and be like, oh, you better go make a play. And then you kind of just
Interesting.
out of it.
Slim, I like that. I didn't
Watch
even
out
heard
next
about
year.
that.
Miles Dubois is coming different.
Yeah, just wait.
We'll do it together.
Yeah, absolutely. But we heard, obviously, Charlotte was a great atmosphere. Dukes was there live on set at the Bar Down Lounge. He said he potentially had over 20 beers on the weekend. Who's a guy on the Atlas that could go beer for beer for Dukes?
It's a great question.
It's a great question.
I'm going to nominate Dylan Malloy.
Wow.
Yeah,
Rocking
Dylan's
the
a
Warrior
good guy.
cleats, too.
He'll wear him to the bar, call him Thumper, and then you'll activate him, and he'll be ready to go. So I think he can go beer for beer with
We'll
you.
get him a little man on the stadium, a little walk around. We'll get him in the bar down, straight from the game.
yeah.
Bar down, he'll be shotgun, he'll be doing the whole thing. We got one more question from the heavens. Alex Poole, take it away.
Yeah, Xander, your nickname is Slim Reaper, and in Charlotte this weekend, there was another Reaper in the stands. Did you get a chance to see that cat, and any thoughts on his full Reaper garb?
I didn't, but I know you're talking about it. I saw the get up. I mean, he looked good. Unfortunately, we had to beat him, but no, I didn't interact with him at all.
A
Yeah,
Reaper
that
on
cat,
Reaper
he's
pick
in
would have been
a
great.
full sugar skull, has a plastic scythe, and like giant Flavor Flav chaos chains.
I loved it. I saw that in the stand.
How did Slim Reaper start? Who made the nickname first?
I think Ty Xanders first tweeted it, and then my brother and John Fox and Doc Aiken, they just thought it was hilarious and like fanned the fire, and then it stuck.
Let's go.
Will we ever change the Instagram?
To Slim Reaper?
Yeah.
No.
I love that. Well, Slim, appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much. And best of luck the rest of the way. We obviously will be watching.
Thanks for having me on, fellas. Appreciate it.
Yes,
Good luck
sir.
at
Have a good day.
Sixes.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. See ya. Big Slim for hopping on. Lovely guy. Great guy.
Legend. Great
Personality.
Guy. Great guy.
a guy who's going to be playing in the league for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Happy we got him on.
Yeah.
Well,
no.
you never know if someone gets injured. This league.
Yeah, this league.
Hokie will be seeing Wistowski's.
It's true though. This league,
It
you're
is.
out.
No, it's a lot.
You could be a starter one day and fighting for a roster spot, maybe not even on a roster on the next day.
Yeah.
I danced around it and didn't have the guts to say it really to him. But you get someone like Cormier coming back who I think can only play attack. It's just crazy, how much talent they really.
Yeah.
And you don't want a UVA on UVA.
And it was
crown.
tough to bring it up with Xander because it's hard to talk about rosters. But I'm not saying he's obviously not getting replaced, but they're gonna have to mix around the roster spot when Jake Stevens comes back. Some guys are gonna have to go, and if those guys are gonna come in. So
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be the best player.
but the dynamic, they're good right now. They're feeling good. They're playing
gonna be
well.
interesting
It's
and-
interested with the pieces.
Yeah. And kind of going to the last game, Cannon's over Whips 13-9. Cannon's going into this year, I thought we're going to be number one. And I feel like that's not where they really are right now. And we thought the Whips were going to be better. But starting off 0-2, what do the Whips need to do? It seems like something's obviously not working for them.
Yeah, I think this is – I don't know. I'm not as down as the – I think the Whips – I don't think they're the worst team in the league, but I think they got some issues, obviously. Offensively, just something just doesn't seem right when you watch them play. And they show spurts where I think they have some good moments, but I don't know. It's tough. But the Cannons, I'm not even sold on the Cannons, to be honest. I know Dukes loves the Cannons. I think we bit a lot of that hype from them winning the championship series, which is completely different than the outdoor game.
But you look at the roster,
They
you look
also
at
were
those
number
names.
one last year. They were the number one offensive efficiency in the league
No,
of all time.
That's fine, but
No, that's not fun. That's great.
I don't know. To
You
me,
got to say that's great. You can't just wave that off.
That is great. That is great. They got completely blown off the field last week to the Atlas. They did.
I know. I keep going.
And then they beat the Whipsnakes, who are at the bottom half of the league. I think they still have stuff to prove. I'm not saying panic on the Cannons, but I don't know if they're in the upper echelon of the league yet. That's all I'm saying.
I think they're a top 4 team. I think that if you're looking at it from the Whipsnakes perspective, you lost to, I don't know, it depends how you look at the Cannons, but I think you lost to 2 of the better teams in the league.
Yeah.
And I don't know, to panic for the Whipsnakes, they'll still get wins, and we'll be talking about them. In my opinion, I don't look at them as a bottom 2 team in the league. Bottom 3, we'll start having combos, but I don't put them in that bottom 2 just yet. I think there's a lot of flexibility in that regard. But I want to talk about this really quick. First off, Asher Nolting, 7 points.
Yeah.
Ridiculous performance. I just think that the way that he's able to mesh, you saw Pat Cav have some points this weekend. Saw him getting it going.
Holman absolutely painted a corner.
I love the
Picasso.
camaraderie or the edge that the Cannons play with.
Yeah.
And if you want to talk about something, I don't think he is, but I think he deserves to be in the conversation of, if you're having a conversation of who's the best goal in the PLL, and people are I think it's obviously Blaze. I think Colin Kirst is right there.
Yeah, he doesn't get enough respect.
And maybe I didn't give him enough respect either. But I truly am he's at least, if you're going to talk about it or you talk about people that should be on Team USA, he's definitely in the conversation.
Did you see the falling save he had?
That was insane.
Are you
He was
serious?
on the
That's
ground.
like
as a
SC top
free
10
goal,
worthy.
just put his stick up. Yeah, that was.
Yeah. I mean, he looks good. I mean, he looks really good. I think one of those guys that doesn't have the biggest personality, so probably doesn't get the hype he deserves, but he's definitely up there, right?
Yeah. I mean, to me, the Cannons and the Whips, this game is 2 teams where I feel like we got to feel it out in a couple weeks. I feel like we don't know either way. The Cannons might not be as good as we think they are. They might be. The Whipsnakes might not be as bad as we think they are. They might be. I think these are 2 teams in 3 weeks down the line.
And I think we didn't talk too much about Pat Cav in the first week. Obviously, he didn't do too much this week. He's obviously put points on the board, but I feel like the Cannons have one of the best rosters that haven't really put anything on tape yet. I think they're just a stock just continuing
They're
to go
flying
up.
under the radar too, I think.
Yeah, I think towards the end of the year, they're just going to keep winning games, and they're going to be kind of that low-key team.
I agree with that.
And, you're looking a little bit ahead without going into it. They have a Water Dogs team next week where it's 2 great teams.
Yeah.
It's just the difference between,
We talked about it. Yeah, college versus PLL, same thing.
But the difference between going 4-4 to whatever, 7-1.
Yeah.
It's just a couple of goals.
Yeah.
You could have a -4 goal differential. You use 4 1-goal games. It's well, geez, they're not. They compete with all these teams. Doesn't mean they're necessarily bad at all. It's not there's no overhype. In my opinion, there's not an overhype or like an underperformance. It's just the difference between, in the NFL, they call it like the inches are the difference in the game.
Yeah.
And same thing here.
And it could be the same thing. Remember, year 3, Whip Snakes sucked.
Yep.
And they went to the championship.
Yep.
Chaos go like
yeah.
the last, like they
Yeah.
1-7 or whatever they
It's
were.
the same situation. I think we're going to see some of that this week. But that wraps up week 2 of the PLL. We're excited for Philly, right? You know, the Water Dogs coming home. I'm excited to see that matchup. But PLL Fantasy, 𝐓𝐇𝐄, take us away.
Yeah, so for fantasy for week 2, this was our lineup that we rolled with.
Pretty solid lineup.
Solid lineup. I will say, as a first-time user on the fantasy thing, you really gotta
budget
think your coins. It's tough because
hope you're a finance major. That's all I got to say because you have a lot of numbers.
You want 𝐓𝐇𝐄 and Tom Schreiber, and then you're like, wow, I have 10 coins left. I'm getting some random rookie I haven't even heard of that's on a claim roster somehow.
It's pretty interesting.
But yeah, no, I mean, I got Josh Sawada, who I got massive value on there.
Yeah.
Huge value there. I went with Teeter after his hot game. He didn't have what he was supposed to, but still 36 points. Shane Knobloch injury really hurt here.
Yeah, that was tough. That was really
tough because Knobloch was one of those guys. He was the last guy I set on my lineup.
Yeah.
And I only had a certain amount of coins. I think I had like 11 coins left. And I'm like scrolling. I'm like, who could I possibly? Knobloch's 9 coins here. I was like, you know what? Let me pop him in there.
Yeah.
Added him. TD Erlin was great for me. Dobson, solid performance. Jared Connors let me down.
Yeah, that was tough.
Jared Connors let me down.
Tough
One fantasy point. I thought he was going to give me a little more. I didn't know what to expect.
I think the fantasy's cool, and you guys can get involved too. Download the PLL app. Go to the MPLS Showcast. That's where we'll be making our picks. We're going to make our picks as a team. Obviously, kind of the rules of how to play is you have 200 coins, and you can pick 2 attackmen, 2 middies, 1 defenseman, 1 goalie, and 1 fogo. And obviously, you know, guys like 𝐓𝐇𝐄 cost more. Guys that aren't as good cost less. And you have to pick a squad to be able to equal 200 points. It's pretty tough. It's a lot harder than you think. So join us on Fantasy. We can't make our picks for week 3 yet because we're filming this on Monday. But our picks will be on the board right now because we can make them on Tuesday. Let's go to Pick'ems, though. In the lead right now, we have the D3 legend.
Wow, Miles in the lead.
D3 hero. How are we feeling?
Miles,
I'm feeling good, but I talked to you.
Dukes, do you want to talk about this?
But
talk about it.
You humbled me.
No. Talk about it. Talk about it.
No, he goes, yeah, man, you still got to do that punishment from like the first pick'em. And I was like, yeah, well, like, let me know. Like, I'm not like avoiding it. It's just like, let me know. He's like, yeah, you're gonna have to do 2 because like you're at the bottom, which I'm not.
Yeah, but you scared me because it's like you're so right about these like 1-goal games. And
Oh, did I scare you?
yeah, no, I'm a little scared, but I'm gonna go 4
Miles,
for 4 this
you
weekend.
acted like you had an 100
No,
point
yeah.
lead right now.
You're looking for sympathy? You're
Because
not
it was
gonna get it
different.
from me
It was
now.
different in college when it's like you have the lead, you're just gonna like keep the lead. You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah, but
there's
you
also,
said
like,
it was
3
over. Science
There's-
to deliver.
I
There's
know.
3
I'm going back on what I said, and I've taken
Once
back.
again.
We did 3 weeks of pick'ems
I
in
take it back.
college.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, we did the tournament
Yeah, 100%.
And it wasn't even like by
And
the
we
end,
had
it
a
was
lot
like
of
I was
free
picking
games.
teams that like I didn't even think were gonna win.
to win.
Yeah, because I was
Yeah.
just like, this is
what I have to do.
This is the path.
Yeah.
You're right.
All right, so standings right now, Miles 6-2, the Pehlke 5-3. And then we have Dukes at 3-5 and 𝐓𝐇𝐄 2-6, the Lax Rat.
Yeah. Tough stretch for me right now, but hey, it's a long season. We're not over in week 2.
Yeah.
All right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll see. We'll get it.
We'll
right.
see. Let's do pick'ems for week 3. Like I said, Water Dogs homecoming down there in Villanova. Shout out Steven Zubicic. Game 1, Cannons versus Water Dogs. I think we just go around. We'll start at Dukes, make your picks, and then we'll finish with myself.
Yeah, I truly think this is a coin flip.
Yeah. This is the best game of the weekend for me.
Yeah, ABC game. I'm gonna go with the Dogs, just because mostly it's hungry dogs run faster. Like I think that this is a
Any ownership there?
they need this one. You know, I think that this is you don't want to start off 0-2, especially it being at home. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Dogs in this one.
I'm also gonna take the Water Dogs.
I'm gonna go Water Dogs.
I was going to go Water Dogs.
I think
Going
the
to
Water
Cannons.
Dogs. They didn't play this week. They had a
Final pick? What do you say?
Cannons. If
Final
you guys are all
pick?
taking Dogs, I'll take Cannons.
Fade us.
Don't
as
fade
he
us.
has a
Don't
Water
fade
Dog
us.
shirt.
You
on.
gonna be in Philly?
No, not this weekend. Going to
okay.
Vegas.
Whoa. Okay.
All
All
right. So
right.
Dukes is taking Cannons.
Okay.
You actually
Cannons,
want to?
lock it in.
I mean, yeah, I just said it's a 50.
Miles, I thought you
I
were-
said it was a 50.
Oh God, here we go.
Miles, I
Fade,
thought
the
you were
D3
taking
fader.
Cannons.
No, but here's where I come in. I
you say
said
Cannons?
50-50. So if you guys are all gonna go Water Dogs, and I think it's a 50-50 game, I'm not gonna be like a meme where it's like we're all picking Water Dogs
Yeah,
across.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a little contrarian.
Okay.
Like, I truly
And
think
Miles,
it's
that's probably gonna switch your answer. Are you going Cannons?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Staying true to your roots. I like that.
I'm taking Dogs still.
Yeah, same Dogs. All right, game 2. Archers Chaos. After the the play of last week for the Archers, is that messing with their head a little bit?
Yes.
Who we picking, Dukes?
I'm going chaos. I do think that like as good as the Archers offense is, the chaos, like I said to Xander, they don't slide. I think Blaze comes back. I'm gonna keep taking the chaos until like Blaze officially comes back because we're doing this so early. We don't know when he's playing. But I do think that if the chaos have Blaze or Count, they win this game. I like the matchups for that defense, and I think defensively the Archers do have some question marks. Like Dauber's really great,
Yeah.
but they don't have Graham Hossack now. They lost Matt McMahon to retirement this season, so I still think the Utah Archers defense has to figure it out. I'm going chaos.
It's going to be a high-scoring game. Chaos are going to pull it off.
I'm going to take the Archers. I think in this game, when I look at it, the Chaos, they're good. They're a good team, but they did beat Denver and the Redwoods. Their 2 wins, which we probably say are the 2 last place teams in the league right now.
Yeah.
I like a bounce-back game out of them. I think
I'm agreeing.
in a game where it's
Yeah.
Blaze and Dauber, the 2 best goalies in the world, I do think Blaze is the better one.
Is
but
Blaze for
it's-
sure coming back, though?
We
No,
don't
that's
know.
what I said. I'm
but
gonna
we're
keep taking him
assuming.
until he does.
I'm rolling
He's
with
coming
the.
back.
I like the Archers in this one.
I'm Archers, too. And, like, I know we love Nick Rowlett. We like Mike Siss, but, like, I feel like Mike Siss has the upper hand here. And I
Yeah.
feel like that could help, too. So I'm going Utah Archers as well. Game 3, Redwoods Atlas. We just had Xander on. Redwoods kind of want a little redemption. Atlas are hot.
It's such an easy pick.
Yeah. We said that last week, though. We all took Archers and Outlaws.
I so badly want to take the Redwoods.
You
I
know what
know.
I'm going to do. It's Atlas all day.
I thought you were going to take Redwood.
Yeah, same.
Why?
I had
I'm an Atlas
I
fan.
had no
I'm an
idea
Atlas
what you were
fan.
going to
I'm
do.
an Atlas
Yeah, I'm
fan.
not gonna lie. If you're looking at this from like if you're looking from a gambling thing, like if it's plus 2.5, like,
Yeah.
that's like I think it could be like within that range. I think this is gonna be closer than people expect. I don't have guts though. I'm a gutless man. I'm gonna take the Atlas. I faded them every single game so far, trying to be like contrarian. Like going into the season, I didn't know how good they'd be. Last week I was like, all right, I'll take the chaos. I'm gonna take the Atlas this week.
Okay.
Atlas.
Yeah, I took the Atlas.
I mean, I've week by week as a Redwoods guy looking for any avenue where I can pick them, and I just cannot. It's the Atlas easy in this one.
Yeah, I'm
I just
Atlas
think the
as
Atlas
well.
just have too much. The Redwoods are just to me a little too stagnant. I like the face-off matchups. It's gonna be interesting though with
Yeah.
TD and Trevor, but I think it's too much. The only way I think the Redwoods win this game is if like Tim has a letdown game and a lot of stuff starts squeaking by, and then
Yeah, from
maybe
the
you
goalie
bring
perspective.
Entenmann in like in the 3rd quarter or something. Entenmann's a little shell shock because the PLL is way different. Like Paul said, like it's
Yeah.
going to be a little adjustment, and the Redwoods sneak a win by him in that
Yeah.
instance. But other than that, I don't see any way the Redwoods win. I'm
Do you
taking,
bring
I'm
up a
taking
good-
the Atlas.
You bring up a good point really quick about like that. TD can probably neutralize Trevor a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at what the Redwoods do well, like you got like a Bertrand, you got these big midfielders, you got Degnan who can rip it from the outside. Like Troutner's really good in close. If you're looking from like outside perspectives, a little outside scoring.
That's a good point.
So that's if the Redwoods are looking to shell Timmy, it's going to be from range.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
still
going
Atlas.
I'm going Atlas
So
as
a
well.
clean sweep with Atlas there.
Yeah. In the last game, the Whips versus the Water Dogs. Obviously, Water Dogs have, back-to-back games since it's their home city. This is the tough one, I think. And,
It's so
I
sneaky.
truly feel having the back-to-back games, we thought it was going to be different for week 1 in Atlas in New York. But I don't know. What do you guys think? We'll start with Dukes.
Yeah, I'm going Dogs. Dogs roll.
Yeah, I'm going Dogs as well. Whip Snakes, they scored 9 goals last week.
I know you can't win in this league with 9
That
goals.
ain't cutting it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a close game again.
Yeah.
I got Dogs again. Water Dogs sweep the weekend, go 2-0. I just think the Water Dogs, they're hungry. They're a legit team in this league. They
Yeah.
didn't get to play last week. They had that good comeback at the end that just fell short against the Archers. They're a good group. They're a veteran group. I think they
I hate to go against my own squad, too, but I'm going Dogs as
They're
well.
going Dogs. All right.
It's just like I think the week off and going back to back, and then we saw it like in Albany, with the Atlas having their home tot, and then in Charlotte where the chaos, like the red there, the atmosphere, like we even saw the chaos like Reaper, like it's definitely the atmosphere's bigger. So
And then also this, just another point here. This usually after week 3 now, we should start to see, as Paul alluded to a couple weeks ago, when teams start, you kind of know who you have and who you don't. This is where the trades are going to start happening. And that can change the dynamic of a season. Like if the Whip Snakes go 0-3, do they not blow it up, but semi-blow it up? Maybe trade some guys out, try to bring some guys in. Like this will be
It'll be
interesting moving
It'll be
forward to see
interesting.
what happens.
Picks are locked in. Get involved as well.
2 games on ABC.
Yeah,
Huge.
that's pretty sick. That's
And the
pretty sick.
viewership, I don't know if you guys saw the tweet by the PLL and Post, viewerships been going through the roof. All green arrows up.
Wow.
Lacrosse
that's
is growing.
exciting.
I love it.
Lacrosse is
Getting
growing.
this on national
Continues
TV.
to be the fastest sport on 2 feet. I'm excited to keep it rolling. Join us, PLL app. Join the cast, get involved, and also comment below a punishment that one of us will have to do after the PLL season. The loser will have to do your punishments. You can comment below. Next episode, you'll see Dukes do the college punishment. We're not going to tell you guys what that is, but I just want to say stay tuned for episode 7 because it's going to be something pretty funny.
Heinous punishment if Dukes
Heinous.
If Dukes loses again,
Again,
he's
yeah.
got to go sober at the bar down lounge all next season.
It's torture.
That's a good one.
I like that.
Sorry.
I like that. All right, let's move in. Let's move into the last segment, my favorite segment, Mitch's Mailbox, where you guys can call in, leave your voicemail. Numbers on the screen right now. Leave your wildest lacrosse take, and we're going to react to it live. We got producer Matt on the 1s and 2s letting us know the voicemails. We don't even know what they are, so, again, you're going to hear our live reaction. All right, Matt, get us into it.
Producer Matt has a mic.
What's good, boys? My name is Max. I'm from Westchester County in New York. I played club lacrosse at Elon University in North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
My hot take is I think the PLL was a little bit early to change to home cities. I think they should have kept the touring model going for a little bit. I also think they potentially could have gone with some different cities. Would love to hear your thoughts on it, and keep up the good work. Really enjoying the show so far. Take care. Peace.
That's kind of an interesting take. I haven't heard that. I want to say I haven't heard that yet. And is he wrong?
I think he's
Yes, he's
wrong.
wrong.
I think he's wrong for 2 reasons. He said they should have potentially continued with the touring model. They're still doing the touring model. So nothing's changed other than that they've attached cities to specific teams
Yep.
in order to start to build a fan base to potentially, hopefully in the future, build that fan base, and people in this area want to rally around Atlas.
And then
People
they
in
get their
Philly,
home
and then they
United
get their
Stadium,
home
everything.
thing. So his whole point of they're not doing the touring model, nothing's changed other than that they've started to build fan bases and
In the
allegiances to a city, because the first couple of years I understand why they did it, not attaching cities right away, but I feel like it was not tough for a fan, but tough to rally around. You know, me and my 6 buddies, hypothetically could have been from around here. I'm Chaos, I'm Redwoods, blah, blah. There's something about sports when, you know, we're all Atlas fans and we,
Yeah.
you know, want to all root for the same team or go to the game together.
Yeah.
So I think that, and if you look at like the fan bases that like each club individually or each team's building, like the Chaos's fan base, you saw
Yeah.
like all over Twitter, like on the draft
Yeah.
parties that they were having. I think the cities were a no-brainer, and it's essential to continue to keep escalating in the sport
growth,
and
yeah, for
growth up.
sure.
We need the cities, so
Yeah.
I think he's wrong for sure.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that exactly what you kind of said. I like the touring model, and especially with the home fields like bases, because when you get like the Chaos, you get the double attendance, right? Like you show up for game 1, and then on Saturday you saw the same Chaos fans come back for the second day. So it made the 2-day experience better for someone like myself.
Yeah. And how live were the, Chaos fans down there?
The Atlas, you had a feel that, wow, this is like a home field atmosphere, right? And
Yep.
it was a first taste of home field advantage.
Yeah.
Once you got to Carolina, it was like real.
Really?
Like, real passionate fans, by far, so far.
Wow.
The best fan base that I've seen.
See, and
pretty
that's the
sick.
key
That's
of why
pretty
you
sick.
need the cities. That's the
Yeah.
key of why you need the cities.
And it carried over from the MLL days when
Yeah.
they had the Hounds to now
Yeah.
they're switching over to the Chaos, which was really cool to see a city kind of accept.
Yeah. No, pretty
You
interesting.
need the cities eventually.
Okay, and his second part of his question was he thought there should have been some different cities. What's a city you guys wish that was elected?
Honestly, I think the cities that they had, I think they honestly nailed the
Yeah.
teams, because to me it's like, okay, when you're creating a league and you're creating teams, there's certain cities you need to hit. You need to have California, Los Angeles for obvious reasons. And then you look at like a sport like lacrosse, you're going to have Philly, you're going to have Maryland, those are like the hotbeds of the sport. And then I think they did a great job, just like Duke's just saying, of, I don't want to say there's not support in a state like Florida, but
Yeah.
a state like Carolina, like, they're not like an immediate jump off the page, give them a team thing, but Duke said the atmosphere, the fans, they support it and they want it, and that says something about like having a market where like the team, you want to have your fans rally around your teams. Same with Utah. I've heard Utah's had great attendance out there. The fans love the game out there. So Utah Archers get a team. I think they did a good job with it. Honestly, I think it's not just put one in Dallas. 'cause it's
Beating a
Texas.
guy that went to Ohio State, I kind of wish they had a Midwest squad.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go. I think that Ohio deserved a team, especially
Yeah.
the Columbus area.
Yep.
another shout out. I thought Minnesota deserved one.
Yeah.
Minnesota, interesting.
I think the Midwest is the next when the expansion comes. I think.
And the one more that I don't think gets enough credit that I think deserves one. I went to the All-Star game last year.
Kentucky.
Louisville,
Really?
Kentucky. I don't know if people drove in from like Cincinnati or if it was just the Louisville fan base in general. I think the PLL got clowned a little bit for choosing Louisville last year to have the All-Star game. Because it's like, who wants to go to Louisville? And these guys don't want to take. Louisville was awesome.
Yeah.
Talk about like an underrated city that supported the PLL and was a lot of fun to be in. I couldn't say enough better things. So I think that down the line when you expand some more teams, give them a look.
All right, so when they bring in the 9th team, where's the city? You think it's Midwest?
I think it's Minnesota.
I think it's Minnesota.
I think it's Minnesota or Ohio.
I think Minnesota's going to get it because they've had it in Minnesota the last couple of years. The fans have been great. I know they're going to Minnesota this year. Are they going to Minnesota this year?
They
Yeah,
are.
they are.
It's coming up.
It's coming up.
Not a Texas? Not a Florida?
I think there's 3 things. Want to hear my 3 things?
Yeah, let's
There's
hear it.
3 things that are going to happen. I see the vision.
Oh, okay, here we go.
1, Minnesota gets a team.
Okay.
Then you expand more. The Ohio Machine come back.
Yes, that would be sick.
And then number 3, when Dallas gets a team, it's going to be the Rattlers again.
Yes.
You bring back some of these teams in the MLL that people.
I'm big on that. I
remember.
love when they do that too.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. Like the New York Atlas is sick. Like
Yeah.
the jerseys are sweet,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have an identity with this team. So I get it. Like you had to get a New York team.
Yeah.
But even like the team like the Lizards, I was like, oh, that would be
Oh
fun.
my
to
God,
bring
I
back.
wanted the
I
Lizards.
wanted the
back.
Lizards so
I
bad.
think it would be so
Oh
sick
my
for like a
God! I was
throwback.
talking to my dad about this the other day. The Lizards.
Yeah, we're
the
dope.
New York Long Island Lizards. I think I went to every single home game from since I was a youngin' until they had a team. They had a sick deal at the Lizards games. $50 on field, kind of like the PLL has now. Unlimited free food and drinks.
Wow.
It was insane. The amount of autographs, pictures I have of some of these players, like, is insane. I still remember like meeting Paul at these games when I was a youngin', and now I'm like sitting next
Let's
to him last
go.
week at the podcast.
Let's go.
But no, the Lizards are like one of those teams that are like the iconic team
Yeah,
for me. It's like,
definitely.
oh, I
They're
wish
legit.
they brought them back.
Yeah, that's why it's cool to see Boston Canians too.
Yeah, and I think it would just be so cool to do like if they even do like a throwback weekend.
Yeah.
It's
Where they
like
rock
the
Lizard
jerseys. Like Philly does the barrage.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
Maryland does like.
Yeah, Bayhawks.
Bayhawks.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that would be so cool.
It'd be
to see.
sick. It'd be sick. All right, sweet. Matty Ice on to 2.
Hey, what's going on, Mitch? This is Matty Ice, good friend of Evan Boswell from Riverside. My take
Riverside.
is that Mikey Weishauer from Towson University is a top 3 middie in the country easily going into his junior year next season. He's the Hornet for a reason, and that kid is top 3 in the country. There you go.
Really?
Go Riverside.
Go Riverside. I like
Is
that.
it
Thank you.
This a Riverside homer call?
I don't know, but I think Mikey is an underrated player for sure. You know, a guy that's putting up big numbers, came out of high school, highly ranked. A guy at Towson that a school like Towson's not getting the fame that 𝐓𝐇𝐄 is. But a player that is going to be a junior this next year and could potentially kill it.
Yeah, the only tough part is if he kills it, he might hit that NCAA transfer portal.
I don't know.
Why
But
did he
some
go to
people like
Towson
being the
originally?
man at
I
a
agree,
middle
but
tier school.
It's tough because a school like Towson like that, like they had a face-off guy, Rocco Moreno, who was great this year, recruited to Towson, started 2 years, had great numbers. He's in the portal right now. So it sucks for a school like that. Like you recruit a kid, you identify a kid, he has a great 2 years, and then he's like, thanks, see, I'm headed down Charles Street to Hopkins.
But he's a
Like,
little
I
different
don't-
because he was so highly ranked. He could have went to Hopkins
true.
first. So
That's
it's like
true.
obviously he's gonna
Well,
stay.
his brother went to Towson.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a big pull.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's a Maryland guy, wants to stay close to home. I don't know. He's a great player, but it goes back to like you're not at a traditional hotbed where it's like if you're great there, it's not the same as being as great as Hopkins.
I think it's fair to say that he could be at least like
yeah.
I think top 10 easily.
Yeah, easy.
I also think that like I get where you're coming from. If you're like a kid that's under recruited and you feel the disrespect, like I should have been more highly ranked, it's like you're gonna probably look to transfer. But I do firmly believe that there's a lot of guys that like are loyal out there that are like, look, I can't leave like my roommate or the kid that I've been like growing up
No,
with
it's
and
tough.
growing
No,
with.
I agree. And I also think as a high recruit like that, though, you also could have been like, yeah, I want to stay home, be with Towson,
Yeah,
the boys.
kinda
And then
the
you kind of
hometown
get there
hero.
and you're like, nothing against Towson, but like, I kind of want something more. I want to be trying to play on championship weekend. Not that Towson can't, but like, you know what I'm
It's
saying?
definitely harder.
It's a tough
It's
decision.
definitely harder.
It's a tough decision.
Towson's done it though before.
Yeah.
Didn't they do it the same year as Ohio State?
They did.
The
Ohio
Ohio-
State
the
beat 'em.
Ohio State.
Ohio State
The
beat
Ohio
them in the
State.
semis. That was with Ryan Drenner,
Yeah, that whole squad.
that whole squad.
Joe Sider.
Alex Woodall.
Yeah, the ledge. The ledge.
Legend.
The legend. No, that's exciting. All right, next mailbox.
My take is that Notre Dame wins the national championship 3 years in a row, and that Chris Kavanaugh wins the Tewaaraton Award next year.
Not my burner. That wasn't me. That was not me.
That's like a
Wait, was that the same guy as last week? I feel like I've heard that guy's voice before.
I don't know. They're coming in like so many different areas. That's a pretty interesting take, and it's not a wild take either.
No, it's not.
I think definitely they could definitely three-peat. I mean, we talked to Pat after his game on week 1 in Albany. He even said the talent that they're reloading. I mean, it's not out of the question. I think, obviously the bigger one is Chris, getting Tewaaraton, but I don't know, dude. Like, I like that. I like that.
I
call
like
a
it
lot.
a lot. I think Notre Dame is great. It's not Notre Dame. It's a three-peat in anything is so hard to do.
Yeah.
Because now you have a double target in your back. I think the biggest question for me is who's going to play goalie for them. Liam Entenmann has been such a staple for them, and I don't want to say he's won them games, but Notre
definitely
Dame
helped.
without Entenmann this year may have lost 3 games in the regular season. Like, think about how many times he might have made a couple saves that kept the game a win. Like, it's so easy to get picked off in lacrosse. Like, next year they have a goalie who doesn't have his best game and he's not Liam Entenmann. Like, they could lose. Like, it's all drop a couple games in the regular season. You drop down the seeding. Like, I think the goalie is such a big question mark for them, as I think they have every other piece basically returning. But Liam's just so good and such a talent that, I think it's going to be noticeable regardless of who they put in net, even if he's an amazing player in net, how good Liam Entenmann really was.
Yeah.
I do also think that when you look back historically at Notre Dame, though, what they do as a defense is give goalies looks that they want to give. So when you look at a talent like Entenmann and you're giving him that defense in front of him, he's making saves that he should not make. It just made Notre Dame that much better. But historically, Notre Dame has been great with defenses, with maybe not an All-American goalie in there.
Yeah.
So as big of a question mark it is, I think that
But the All-American goalie's got them over the hump.
I think that if you're saying, if you had to have one question mark as a Notre Dame team, and you want to be like, where should we have the question mark? I think it's goalie you'd feel the most confident in.
100%.
Like, if it was a face-off guy, you'd be like,
Will Lynch is back.
Will Lynch is back. Sean's back.
Jake Taylor.
Jordan
Faison.
They got
Chris.
great
Sean
They
Light.
got Campese out of the portal from Harvard, LSM.
Yeah, he's great. Who's amazing.
Amazing.
That's
So
what
a
I'm
good
saying.
addition.
Like, it's not a bad take at all.
Yeah, and they already are stacked at
and if
LSM
you can,
as well.
Jake Taylor, Chris, maybe they have a young guy or a transfer guy coming and take
they're
Pat's
definitely
spot.
going to be preseason number 1. It's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not a bad take at all. I think I think it definitely.
But I think that the other
only
take of,
pushback is just the goalie question mark and how hard it is to do a 3P. Who was the last team that?
Yeah, who
3P'd?
was? I was just thinking about that.
Syracuse, maybe.
Probably Princeton.
Yeah.
Princeton, yeah.
I mean, I'm
Princeton
no
in early
historian.
2000s.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just
Princeton
it's
with
not
like
Notre
90s.
Dame's problem. It's how hard it
90s,
is to just
yeah.
do it year after year after year.
Yeah. And we know Duke went back to back 12 and 2013.
Yeah, they had like 3 and 4 or something.
Yeah.
I will say Chris 𝐓𝐄 completely agree with.
Yeah.
I think Chris 𝐓𝐄.
And also, that's what I'm saying. You Taylor
I
and,
love that
and,
take.
and you have maybe one other guy down there to help him reload. Like, it's gonna.
I think
happen.
it's going to be Chris Cav.
CJ
I think
Kurst.
CJ Kurst. CJ Kurst is going to have a say too.
Yeah.
So I think CJ Kurst is looking really ahead. I just talking very early, like number 1 pick next year. I think that CJ Kurst is, and I think that even if you wanted to throw him in this draft, that he could have went number 1. That's how highly I
CJ
think.
Kurst is such a pro player to me too.
Yeah,
Right,
that's what I'm
right.
saying.
It's
His
his
game
size,
translates
He's going to
so
translate
well.
like
But do you
so
think,
well.
based on 2025 Tewaaraton predictions, being at Cornell will hurt him in that debate?
No,
You don't think so?
I think
Not at
they
all.
return. I'm high on Cornell.
Cornell's
Yeah.
good.
But I'm just saying, for that award, I feel like it doesn't go to those guys that much.
You want a hot take?
Yeah.
If we're looking really
Let's
ahead,
look. Let's
They going
look.
to
I
championship
think
weekend?
Cornell Notre Dame could be a potential championship game.
Wow, folks.
Yeah, let's not forget.
I think that could decide the Tewaaraton. I think that that'll be a battle of the number 1, number 2 picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And let's not forget, too, besides obviously Georgetown beat Notre Dame this year, the only other team that really came close was Cornell in a shootout on Long Island. Cornell had that game for a little bit down the stretch. Notre Dame scored with 20 seconds left to win 18-17. So Cornell was playing with them this year and had a chance to win in that game. Cornell's legit. I just think the tournament, they didn't get snubbed from the tournament, but there just wasn't a spot to put them in there. But Cornell's legit.
Yeah, they're good. It's interesting, man. I love Mitch's mailbox. Again, called number on your screen. Leave your wildest lacrosse take. And let's finish out the episode Duke style. Fun fact. This is actually a good fun fact. I saw it beforehand. This is a crazy one. Like 5 years ago, I would think you're lying.
Yeah.
During week 1 of the PLL season, there was not a single player who played at Syracuse or Hopkins on the active roster.
And before
That is
before
absurd.
everyone comments, Garrett Degnan and all that, and cursed on
And
the
Logan
Redwoods. The Redwoods,
Wisnauskas. I saw some guys
the
say that.
Redwoods did not play week 1 at Albany.
Yes,
so
that
they're
doesn't
not
count.
counting. And Logan
Wisnauskas had a
Wisnauskas-
cup of coffee up there in Q, so that doesn't count.
Yes.
That's a
'Cause
crazy.
I know
fun
those are
fact.
coming in the comments. They're
Yeah.
gonna
Oh,
be-
Wisnauskas.
Yeah.
He was there for I think a week, and then came.
That's
south.
a crazy stat.
Yeah, that's
is
a crazy
crazy.
stack. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought of Syracuse or Hopkins? That's like what Paul would say. What Cuse Hopkins was the highest NCAA
Yeah.
tournament championship game of
Yeah,
all time.
yeah, it was like 2008.
2008, attendance wise, yeah. But that's wild to not have a Cuse. That shows you the game's growing.
It does. It shows you the games that are going. That's gonna wrap it up. Episode 6. Any final thoughts?
I'm excited to see what happens in Philly this weekend. Hopefully the Dogs go 2-0.
Yeah. Hopefully
Get my
Miles can
picks up a
stay
little bit.
true.
Let's go.
All right, sweet. We'll see you guys in episode 7. Peace.